Just getting initial jobless claims here for last week, 202,000 versus 216,000 expected there. So a little bit of a downtick as far as the consensus on the initial jobless claims going back to 8/15. We did get the ADP employment change for December, 164,000 on that number there versus 115,000, so a little bit more. If you're hearing that number for the first time, ADP employment change is jobs created or job changes in the private sector on a month-over-month basis. So a little bit higher than expected on the ADP number. Remember, non-farm payrolls coming out tomorrow at 8:30. So that'll be the big one to watch for. Coming up at 9:45 this morning, we get the S&P Global Composite and Services PMI numbers for December. That's going to be the next big economic release this morning. The S&P one not as closely watched as the ISM numbers, so we'll see if that does move the market at all. Overall, setting up to potentially be another down day here as we head towards what could be the fourth in a row for the overall market and specifically tech names back to the downside. Another day, another downgrade for Apple today. There is some positivity. Peloton on a nice look here, 9.5%, almost 10 at the top there. Teaming up with TikTok. We'll talk about that coming up here. It's Thursday, January 24th. January 4th? It's 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Joining there, 2002 on the, or 202,000, I should say, on the initial jobless claims from last week versus 216,000 expected. So a little bit of a beat there as far as the initial jobless claims number. Yeah, Peloton almost back to 10%. There it is. 202 versus 216 expected. 164 on the ADP number this morning versus 115. Remember, we got that JOLTS number yesterday, and we get the ADP number. Guess what comes tomorrow? The big one, non-farm payrolls to wrap up the week. Frank will be back later on this afternoon. We'll get his take on this, but a little bit higher than expected there on that ADP number. So we'll see how the overall market reacts here. But overall, kind of setting up for another red day.
Yeah, two conflicting numbers there. Yeah. I'm not really sure what to make of that. We'll have to wait for the big one tomorrow. But the market's obviously looking for a little bit of slack in the job market so that we can continue with the forecasted rate decreases this year. We'll have to wait and see what we get, Brendo. It's been a tough year so far on the market.
Yeah, market downside right now, coming off that weekly jobless claims number. Some of the tech names, as we said, under a little bit of pressure. A couple days in a row here for Apple, a little bit more room to run, maybe 1% already to the downside. Piper Sandler today jumping on the downgrade bandwagon for Apple. So we'll see if tech can bounce back. If you remember yesterday, we did get a nice little rally out of the gate for Apple back to basically where it ended the day prior. So overall, we are setting up to be a little bit red here once again this morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. You're going to love what 17 years ago today, Nancy was a big day for Nancy Pelosi. I'll let you look that one up. It was when she became a speaker. It was so if it's an anniversary for Nancy Pelosi, the question I want to know is,
right, I was going to say, why are we talking about this?
Because when do we buy tech? Now, I'm just saying, maybe she knows. Now, we always talk about Aunt Kathy. We talk about Warren Buffett. But last time I checked, the Pelosi buy is a bit of a thing. So on this anniversary, I'm wanting to know from her whether we should buy Apple. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure about Amazon just yet. I am telling you this much, though. Both of these stocks are finally within spitting distance of an obvious institutional buy zone. The 200-period moving average, the 50-period moving average. So when we talk about these things being sells until they're not, this is the first time I'm looking for a bid on Amazon and Apple. I still think they're shorts until they're not. It's a good day when Peloton is up. You got to be happy about that if you somehow own Peloton shares. But I'm going to get this gripe out of the way. I'm probably going to say a few bad things about Mobileye today. Just understand that I actually own Mobileye in my account. And there's when you have like a baby position that you're bag holding, and then there's when you have like a stock where you're like, I just actually lost some real money there. Thank you very much, Mobileye. Good on you.
Well, you only lose when you sell.
No, I know.
You lose when you sell.
I haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
I did say a few expletives earlier.
Yeah,
today,
well,
though.
I mean, you could also be long. Yeah, I mean, it had a nice move up, right? I mean, some of these stocks are going to continue to get it. I don't know. Before that number came out, I was telling Sharif that I wasn't feeling as bearish today as had been all year. But now the market's starting to break a little bit lower. We didn't touch that 16.5 and respect that too much. Now we're all the way back down to the downside. And yeah, man, I guess it's just continuation here of a move down. And again, like, if you guys watch the podcast, I literally was like, I'm not buying anything, and I've been selling. You guys know that I've been selling stock, man. We sold stock at the end of the year, so it's been an absolutely great opportunity to sit back and watch this happen, but I'm still net long everything. It's not like I'm sitting in that much cash. I was saying probably about 10% cash or something, so it's still really hurting, but there will be opportunities to come in here and dip by a lot of names. Today, Micron came out, and I'll have to adjust this prediction a little bit here. There was an upgrade on Micron. We are looking long. It's still an up name, but this market might just fade out the rest of the day. I think it's Apple 180 right now that is going to be the level that you're going to play off of. So I feel like we'll be seeing an Apple 180 print. I don't know, if not today, then tomorrow. And then I expect Monday to be pretty bad as well. And yeah, someone asked me yesterday if I thought the market was still going to be down. And I said yes. And oh, by the way, thank everybody. Where's that market recap animation? I need to get it over here. Send me those digits as well, my guy. Right there, because yesterday we had an amazing turnout for the market recap show. We had a great Q&A session, and Brendan sent me some of the stats. It was one of the most watched recap shows of all time. So I want to thank everybody for that. We didn't have a guest, so maybe you guys like it. But anyways, we had a lot of fun there yesterday, and not even any earnings. So it's fantastic to hear that show is kicking off. So yeah, every night we're doing that. We got the podcast tomorrow. We got the return of lunch money hopefully coming up very, very soon. No, I'm not going to say shh to that. No, man, we're going to advertise it. We got lunch money. That's why these things are working, right?
It's called tongue in cheek, Sean.
Yeah, okay, tongue in cheek. Okay, good one. But anyways, lunch money is going to be back. We have the midday show. We're working on a lot of things. So yeah, just keep supporting the channel, and we'll keep trying to make it free for everybody.
All right, a few things to consider here. I was just having a look at the Qs just popped up in front of me. Back to session lows here, just broke through that 397 once again. Across the board, just to give everyone a little bit of a recap, if you were maybe off yesterday, 3.35% for the Russell 2000 when all was said and done. So small caps went up huge into the end of the year. They're coming right back down in a hurry. 1.18 there for the NASDAQ when all was said and done. S&P and Dow also back downside. And here we go once again. We were green to kick things off today, no longer. Right across the board. If you missed it, again, the ADP number that came out a little bit higher than expected for private sector pay or changes, employment changes last month. We'll get non-farm payrolls coming up tomorrow morning at 8:30. A few things of note here. There was an analyst move to the upside on Micron. AMD also with a positive note from KeyBank this morning, raising their price target on AMD. Intel to the upside a little bit as well on that, I noticed, but everything coming back down with the overall market. We talked about Walgreens a little bit. We talked about Mobileye a little bit. Crypto back downside. I mean, there's so much uncertainty, it seems like right now. Like nobody really has a good feeling at this point. We got the minutes from the last Fed meeting yesterday afternoon. There was a lot of hawkish comments in that, but also some kind of covering the basis, saying if they continue or if the economy continues on the track that they're on, they have no choice but to start cutting rates. But yeah, there was still some comments to the tune of if they need to raise, they will.
Yeah, they want to always have that in the bag, Brendo. But we saw Fed barking on yesterday, really trying to alleviate some concerns and saying that the soft landing is more likely than it has been in the past, although it's not inevitable. He said we'll have to see how that ends up playing today. But to build on your point earlier with respect to some of the chip names, we've seen the SOXS absolutely get killed this year. Chips have been down, as with the overall market. They haven't been spared. So Micron catching an upgrade today, up 0.5%. We'll have to see how it does the rest of the day.
Yeah, this number is starting to creep back to the upside. This is, if you go out to March on this Fed funds tool, This number starting to creep back to the upside. This got as high as 70%. I saw at one point for a cut. So this would represent a quarter point coming off going out to March. But we're starting to creep back up here on the hold side of things. I mean, yes, there's still 62% that we're going to get a cut coming up in March, but a little bit of uncertainty coming back into the talk, at least, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, the market's been out in front of where they think the rate cuts have been for a while now. So like the paring back at the end of the day, like we're sort of used to when we hear something from the Fed, it's pumping the brakes, with the exception of December. It's pumping the brakes on when you're going to get some of those rate cuts. So obviously it wasn't great the way that the market ended up. I was about to talk about Micron, and we sort of pivoted to this. It wasn't great the way the market ended the day yesterday. Like there were certainly signs that you could have found a bit of a bottom and not closed back down at those lows. And I think you got those Fed minutes and turned us around the other direction. Again, when they pumped the brakes a little bit on the veracity of the cuts this year, and then throw out the fact that if they were to cut, like there's always that camp that says, well, that's not necessarily a good thing because you're reacting when you eventually make those cuts. If you're hesitant to do it, but you think it can be this year, well, what happens if we get it, but then we're getting it for the wrong reason? So I think earnings obviously matter. That's a big deal. Like, goodness gracious, Mobileye, I hope you're sandbagging. But at the end of the day, like you want signs that the economy is still doing well, while at the same time not going so crazy, so we can get this soft landing nonsense. But the NASDAQ's back down to 0.5%. And I will be the first to say I'm not taking a fill on the previous highs on Micron. So, well, at least not right now. Like the number just came out there. The idea for this when it got the upgrade was I love the fact that Micron got the liquidity grab. Like this is just a setup I really like. Liquidity grab bottom yesterday to a very defined top at $82.50. So when I see that, I'm gonna look for longs above 82.5 into the previous close. Like that's a buy area generally. Liquidity grab bottom, I'm looking for the buy. The number has changed that because we're testing it at 8:42 in the morning when I would have expected, oh, you're getting a dip into that at like 9:30 or something. So it changes the way that I have that trade set up on Micron, which is unfortunate. The great news for Micron, the chart's actually perfectly zoomed out here. Not a bad looking channel for Micron. And this would be a chance for it to make a higher low. Obviously, you can see this is pretty much the entirety of last year. It made a bottom just before January. The previous top is kind of like the turnaround spot. It hasn't really broken out of this channel just yet, but a chance to bounce off the midpoint or bounce off the 50 period is well within range. And the fact it catches an upgrade here, if that was a temp bottom yesterday at 80, a retest of the high, there's room to that high. I just like the look of the long on Micron. Now, I'm going to be popping in the midday to talk about preparation, and one of the things I always do is look at the overall trend of the stock to remind myself what's it like. And if it's a bullish looking chart, then I want to ask myself, do I have a reason to look for a long? And Micron gives you some of those reasons and as a catalyst today.
All right, I'm not going to go over Micron because we're going to go over it again. So we'll save that for a minute. Yeah, look, let's just talk about the market. That's, we were just talking about rates. So let's look at the market quickly. I'm not, here's the 50 period moving average, still sloping way down, the 200 period sloping down. This is the NASDAQ here. So you're at 16.5 right now and trying to break lower. So, I mean, the NASDAQ continues to march lower here until we get above the 16.6. And I'm writing it right now in the sticky note. So, until we get above 16.6 here, maybe even 16.650, like this kind of a range, then yeah, man, you got a lot to cover until we get, I think, like 16.2-ish, like 16.3 maybe today. So that's another 150, 200 handles down, which means the NASDAQ could be down another 1.5%, 2% or so. I think that's very, very possible. I'm not switching up my gears. I do have some long ideas. That's changing a little bit here with the NASDAQ making this move. Yesterday, we were net short everything. We ran the pendulum, and it was absolutely fantastic all day. And we just kept going and going and going. I like the short again here today, guys.
All right, let's bring in Luis Barbo from the Day Trade the World office over in Barcelona, Spain. Fabian's going to set him up. We'll talk about some small caps. There are a few moving around this morning. A ton of them, in fact. OMGA, one of those. I just saw MINM pop up in front of me once again. Already a ton of volume on a few of these. So we're back into that, it would appear anyways, we're back into that cycle where we start to see a little bit of activity once again in some small cap names. That said, we saw the Russell down more than 3% on the day to wrap things up yesterday. It was the better part of 4%, 2 days in a row getting hit with the overall market as well.
It can't really break out of that range, the Russell. The peaks and the peaks on the Russell are, they're only separated by about 30 or 40 points each, going back almost 3 years now on the Russ. But let's have a look at Minim, because this one was an absolute rocket, Brendo, back on November 30th. That's when it kind of got off that $1 mark over here and ended up making a move over $10 into that $10.50, but it gave back a lot of the gains back. It closed at around that $3.50 mark and didn't do much after that. Minim back again today, Brendo, up well over 100%.
Fabian, let me know if we can bring in Luis. We'll touch base with him and get, as I said, look at some of the small caps. I just brought up Ford here because it popped up in front of me on a scanner as well. But I mean, there's so many to have a look at this morning. Typically, if you go out to a daily time frame, shout out to Fabian, by the way, doing
all on his own,
doing 2 rolls at once this morning, and has been for the past couple of days. Ramin back with us tomorrow on an extended vacation coming off of the holidays. Whenever you're ready, Fabian, just bring in Luis. This one, Omega Therapeutics with a headline this morning, MINM, as Sharif was just talking about. Another one we can touch on. There's the UNG, United States Natural Gas Fund, moving around as well. RPID, all good, Fabian? Yeah, okay, there he is. Luis Barbo, joining us from the Day Trade the World office over in Barcelona, Spain. Happy New Year, sir. Good to see you.
Happy New Year, Brennan. I'm glad to be back in.
It's been a busy week, as we were saying, with some small cap activity once again to kick off the new year. We were talking a little bit last time we spoke with the fact that this tends to come and go in cycles. There's OMGA this morning. There's MINM. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, both quite crazy movements. MINM moving up sharply. Be very careful with the tiny float of this one, 300,000 shares, I think, something like that. So it has a lot of risk on the upside. We have a resistance around $6 round number. If it breaks there, it can go crazy. All these tiny micro float are getting very tricky if it's moving up very sharp. We saw last week LBPH, I think I remember was that ticker, LBPH moving up like 300, 400%. Yesterday, again, we had another one. So all these micro floats, when are pumping and breaking highs, are getting very tricky, mainly if they are micro float like this one, MINM.
All right. As far as how to approach some of these, as you said, when you get into that territory where it's more of a story of the smaller float and the float rotation and a bit of a squeeze underway, we talk a lot of the time about trying to find the backside or sticking to one side or the other. It's very important to not try and stand in front of something that's moving higher, obviously, and has not put in the top yet. Is there like 1 or 2 things maybe that you look at to try and say, okay, now we're here?
I think we often talk about the cycles. Right now, we are in a cycle, very dangerous to go short front side on these kind of stocks. There are some other cycles that you can go front side and you can manage the risk, cut the losses, go in back again. But right now, going front side on these kind of stocks is very, very tricky. First of all, take into account some numbers like float, like institutional ownership, higher resistance, previous, as we say, like criminal days. If it has some criminal records, like moving up, I think MINM have like 1,000% one day back some months ago. So if you have these kind of days in the history of the stock, be very aware of going front side short, right? Go always short against resistance. If you go for the backside, you wait for a backside and then place hard stop in case that buyers come in again. Always we try to understand what the psychology mass of the stock. How can I explain this? Like, are the shorts comfortable now? Are the shorts going in like feeling trust the short, or they are comfortable? So do look for those kind of levels that you can trust, that you are against the most of the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, great points. We had a little bit of a pop on some of the cannabis names yesterday, late in the day. They're moving around again this morning a little bit. I mean, Tilray, anyways, to the upside. When it comes to more of a news-based catalyst and a midday move that you see kind of a follow through then the next day, what's your approach there for something like a Tilray today?
Tilray is a particular sector, as you know, is cannabis on the Canadian market. We look a lot of the news, but also the related, the sympathy stocks, like Cron in this case, CGC. We see what the other companies are doing and how is, if they are following the main stock of the news or not. And we wait until the stock is less crowded, let's say. We are not looking to trade the new, to go against the new, but wait until the new is released and the people are more, quiet. And when the stock is less crowded, we can point out some levels that we can go short or long in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you get, a whole bunch of attention all at once, and then it kind of dies down a little bit. But then
yes,
the day after, if you start to see a little bit of follow through, it's worth keeping an eye on. Anything else catching your eye today?
Yeah, as you say, OMGA, I think you mentioned this one, is moving up as well, very, very sharp. Be careful with the institutional ownership, but this one is around 90% in this institutional ownership. That means sometimes they move a little bit tricky, manipulative, we could say, so wait until, again, the stock is less crowded and it gets less dangerous, let's say. You can point out important levels when it's less crowded. When it's crowded, when it's panic, you cannot really find the perfect entry point. So we are waiting for this one to relax the initial move, and then we will try to short it if we see some backside movement. And as well, we're looking LBPH. This is a third-day move, and it's holding very suspicious, the $22.24 resistance. It was supposed to go down yesterday, and it didn't. It's holding pretty nice, this $22 support. If it breaks 24, we can see another move up to highs, $27, $28, something like that. And we have an eye also on the two main blockchain tickers, Coinbase and Mara, which are pretty crazy these days with the blockchain, with the Bitcoin movement.
A busy day. We'll let you get back to it. Luis Barbo from the Day Trade the World office over in Barcelona, Spain. Great to see you as always.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Have a nice day.
You too.
Me back here. Am I on mute? No.
What?
Thank you, Luis. It's been a long time. I hope a great new year for Luis and great holiday season for that guy. We just had we have another guest getting lined up right now, Raheem. So I want to thank Raheem for coming through as well. And thank you, Luis Barbo. You can go over, find his office there, Day Trade the World over in Barcelona. But he was mentioning right at the end a name that's been, pretty important to me and my net over the last little while. That's going to be Mara. Bitcoin today, 43.5. Starting to dance around just a little bit here. Ever since I got TradingView, I got this guy. I got to refresh this here. Yeah, so it's a nice move back upside here for Bitcoin. Obviously, as we look here, this is just a 1 minute chart bouncing off that 43.5 again. Go down to an hourly chart. There's that bounce that we talked about yesterday, right? Bouncing off 42,000. Look at this. It's a pretty clean move. I like the long in all these mining names. What about if we break 43,750? That's sort of that next level. And this is going back a week and a half. So it looks like we're getting close to breaking through on Bitcoin. I really like that, especially if I'm thinking the market today could possibly bounce. We're still going to stay net short. But like I said earlier, I feel like this was the one day where we could pause a little bit and maybe start to get back going. I thought that Micron upgrade was really nice. But Bitcoin right here, making a little bit of sense to be buying it back up. It's up 2.4% in the last 10 hours. And here's Mara, right? Nice dip down yesterday. What a crazy flush down there. gets into 20, then just rips up basically the rest of the day. So if you're going to look at Mara, where are we going long? What about right here, man? What about this break right into here, 24.50 for Mara, possibly even taking out $25 today. We went short yesterday. Yo, what's up, my guy? We went short yesterday, and today I'm not so sure. Randy, I never did ask you. Oh, I was wearing a similar shirt to that yesterday. What, do you got a job interview today or what? What's going on? No, nothing? Bitcoin, yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay? All right. Well, that's the end of that one. No. Why? Anything?
I just don't.
Not a big fan of
No.
it? Okay. I feel like that's important when you're trading crypto, is that you're either looking at it or you're not. Like you can hold it forever and open it up in 5 years like I'm trying to do, and hopefully we can both retire together. Ooh. But I feel like you're getting retired. Like, look at this, man. You're looking all... You got a retirement speech here today or something?
No.
It's a good one, man. What is that, the Apple? You got a new Apple Watch? Is that the big one?
No, it's the old one.
Still the old one, yeah, still.
It is a collared shirt, though.
I know. How often? I was going to say, no George today. Minus 6
-6.
today. It's finally starting to get...
brisk.
You're dressed up because Raheem's here. I know that's...
Hey, Rivian tanking.
Rivian tanking. Rivian, yeah. Well, production numbers.
Yeah.
It's all about BYD and Tesla right now.
People loving the drip. Randy with the drip. Do you know what that means? It's like your outfit. Everyone's like...
he's got kids,
All right, fit check. All right, from one man who's dripping to one man who's always looking fly, the flyest guy in the building, it's always Mr. Raheem Alani.
He's stepping up his game here a little bit for 2024 as well. You're looking a little extra sharp today. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year. A lot to consider here as we get into 2024. I think we'll touch on a few things here because it's been that type of a start to the year. There's oil making a move. There's some of the metals that we've been discussing over the past couple of months, including copper, making moves. More to come on both of those fronts. There's crypto back in action as well. Let's touch on oil because from a macro standpoint, there's a lot obviously happening in the world. There's a lot of headlines that are, adding to the rally at this point. The question becomes, what do we look at to maybe take advantage of this?
You're very much correct. It's been a chaotic start to the year. Markets have gotten very serious in terms of how they're looking at oil and gas versus things that are happening in the world geopolitically, whether there's a war, whether there's shipping routes that are being blocked. So all of those things change where oil is going. Oil started to drift down lower, right at the last week as it was, and then 2 days ago it moves up again 3, 4, 5% intraday. So you're seeing these big moves happening because of the geopolitical tensions, because of what OPEC's doing. Canada is somewhat insulated from that. There is still the global effects of it, but Canada does have other things in its favor in terms of regional and national production that we've got here, as well as the Trans Mountain Pipeline, which is supposed to come in somewhere around April, so let's call it June, because we're Canada. So it'll come in at some point this year. I'm fairly confident in that, and that all the oil and gas producers are waiting for that. So I think we will still sort of see the oil and gas price, the oil price, sit somewhere in this range and start to potentially creep up a little higher. But OPEC is doing what it's doing to push prices and keep them where they want to keep them.
All right, a couple of names here to consider. Suncor had a huge day yesterday on production numbers that came out for this one, SU.
808,000 barrels a day in Q4. So that is their second highest quarter in their almost 100-year history. So it's a fantastic number for them. If you saw the trade yesterday, it popped up quite nicely. And they're looking and guiding for 770 to 810,000 barrels a day in the coming quarter. So it'll be interesting to see what their numbers look like as they continue to produce. But very strong numbers as they've shown. And I think we'll start to look at that again coming in Q1.
TC Energy, if you're looking in this space, not one I don't think we've talked about in the past, but give us a story here for TRP.
Yeah, so again, that was one that is a little bit different. It does trade 1.5 million shares a day. It is a 54 billion market cap company, but it's not one that you would typically look at. The reason that we thought this one was interesting is they are spinning off another business, so they're they're moving off one of their assets, so giving people an opportunity to invest into this new piece of business that's more focused on their pipelines. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the company, but it is an opportunity for people to get the spin-off of the pipeline business. They have continued to increase dividends. So you're seeing that companies with a lot of cash, like we've talked about, you're either buying yourself or you're increasing dividends. And again, with a company like them, they might be one that's ripe for acquisitions as well because of the amount of cash that they've got on their balance sheet. There could be some consolidation, like we've always talked about. In many sectors, Canada's probably very heavily saturated with the number of companies that we've got. So you might see somebody like TC Energy show up and start to make some acquisitions.
Interesting. Give us the macro or the high level kind of look here for copper going into 2024.
Yeah, so there was a great read yesterday on copper that potentially copper could see a run of up to 75% by 2025. At the COP28 recently, the collective governments and countries said that they were looking to triple the amount of renewable output by 2030. And what that means is you are going to need more copper than we've got. We've talked about this, you and I, several times over. There's going to be a need of an excess 4.2 million tons of copper that is currently not available. So with things that are happening like in First Quantum in Panama, they're not producing as much copper right now, obviously. And smelters are now seeing that they're not going to get enough product. They're reducing their guidance. So there's going to be a lot of interesting moves around copper. But the forecast is potentially, we're seeing copper could hit 15,000 a ton by the next, call it 18, 19, 20 months. The highest that we've seen it was 10,700, I believe, in March of last year. So people are forecasting that copper could see significantly higher than that.
Some of these charts definitely reflecting that. You just saw Capstone there, CS, which is trading in Toronto here.
Yeah, Capstone, they are here in Toronto. They have assets in Mexico, Mexico and Arizona, specifically in Chile as well. They've got some projects there. Chile is forecasted to be one of the largest copper producers in the world. Chile and Peru, largest copper producers in the world in the next coming couple of years. So Capstone was interesting because of everything that they've got their new Chilean project that is also coming online. It is trading towards the upper end of their 52-week high, but still not back to where it was. So it's somewhere around 650. Their 52-week high was about 780, as low as 250. So that is a project that does look interesting because of their geographical distribution across the three countries.
Yeah, this one as well, London Mining, LUN on the TSX, back to significant levels we haven't seen since the summer last year.
Yeah, Lundin is traded between 6 and 14, roughly call it trading around 1050. Geographic diversification as well. They're in Argentina, they're in Brazil. They're spaced out across Europe as well as into the US. Like we've talked about before, again, if you love yourself, you buy yourself. So they did announce an issuer bid to buy up to 55 million shares of itself. So Lundin is well placed, again, in copper. And I think we'll see some of these middle names start to creep up higher as copper moves as a whole.
We've spoken in depth in the past on crypto in this country. At one point was one of the bigger aspects of the up-and-coming names that were traded in Toronto. There's also a long history of cannabis names that continue to trade in Toronto. Got a positive headline yesterday for the cannabis sector. I mean, it ended up being a bit of a fade. And that was just that the DEA is in fact going to look at the change of the legalization in the U.S.
Yeah, no, that's something that we have talked about significantly. The most recent big news prior to yesterday's fade, like you said, was it potentially getting pushed up higher and getting changed to a Schedule 3 versus a Schedule 1. And if you watch us from months ago, we talked about what that actually meant. But you look at the big ETF, MSPS, off the high of that news, it went up as high as 85%. Currently, it's back down to about a 43% lift off of its low from when that news came out. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. What we've talked about significantly is just the acquisition potential that's in the space, the number of companies that will go out and acquire, and will cannabis become a hotbed issue in geopolitics, specifically in the U.S. So I still think we are over-indexed on the number of companies that are out there. So I still think we will see consolidation continue to happen. Specifically looking at the U.S., but there are a number of things politically that could happen in the U.S. that could push cannabis back into the forefront very, very quickly.
We talked a little bit about the Web3 aspect of what was happening specifically here in Toronto when it comes to crypto. Just off the top of your head, is there maybe one or two individual names in the crypto space still on the TSX or some exchange here in Toronto that we should keep an eye on this year?
Again, I think crypto will be interesting. There's the big U.S. news coming, whether there will be a spot ETF for Bitcoin. I'm sure everyone knows what's happening there. So if you are a Bitcoin fan, that will be a place to keep an interesting eye on. In terms of names, like we talked about last time, there are a smaller number of names than there were a while back. There's the Verses of the world, there's the WonderFi's of the world. So there's those kind of smaller names that are out there. So depending on your lens, there are a few.
Yeah, WonderFi is actually going to be on the show coming up here in a few days, so
nice.
We'll be good to have them back. Good to have you back as well. Happy New Year, and we'll touch base again, maybe even next week. Why not?
In the coming X number of weeks, I'm happy to come back and we can talk some Ravens.
There you go. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto.
Can't even say anything because the Ravens look absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Raheem. We got twice the action when it came to guests this morning, thrice if you, including Randy as well. But a couple, I was going to talk about Freeport, because I think a lot of our viewers, for a copper play, it's like that's the first thing you look to. But what's interesting is they weren't as cheap as I was expecting. I was looking at a historical PE chart for them because I think it's like 28, their PE right now. The chart looks okay on the daily, but then if you look at the historical PE, it's a little bit tight to the tops, but it is still a pretty decent look in terms of like holding above the 50 and the 200. You've got a pretty defined range. If there is a big breakout in copper, a stock like this, if you can get something like that before a run off the 50 period or the 200 period moving average, is a good place to buy a stable company, to be sure. That's the one that'd be on my radar off of that call. At least the first thing that came to mind for me. And then just one thing to look at for Bitcoin. I don't want to dwell too much on it. Raheem knocking it out of the park. The top that got made after that Huadunk move, we're pretty much right there again. 43.5, call it 43.6. This little wick high. Rule is, for me today, if we're breaking out that high, maybe I don't want to be shorting Mara or Coinbase. And if you're looking for shorts, then make sure that you're not breaking out said high. Because when that move was happening and you got that break off the bottom, that's where a lot of faces got ripped off of. And individually, Coinbase has some levels that if we break through simultaneously the tops, it could actually be a long today. Now, I know we got January 6th coming up, obviously. At the end of the week, we could get some big news for the ETF, but it's not here just yet. There's a couple of days worth of action before we get any definitive word on the ETF.
That was January 10th. Is it January 6th?
Well, it was, I was going off what Kevin said.
Okay, maybe.
Today's Thursday.
Should have listened.
That's a weekend.
Right, yeah. I think it's the 10th. But okay, anyways, thank you so much to Raheem as well, of course. Always bringing that heat. So get some good ideas there, especially on some of those small cap names. All right, we're running short on time. Let's go over to the desk.
Yeah, let's get right into everything else we need to know here. If you are good.
I'm ready, baby.
It's one of those days. Sharif's going to have a look at the overall market here.
All right, Brendo, yesterday we closed out at 47.46, right at that 47.50-ish level that we were talking about. That's a support level that we've been looking to hold that takes us back to December 20th. We're a smidge below that right now. The overnight low actually broke that 47.41. The overnight high, 47.57. I'm going to say, let's see if we give up this 47.50 at the 9:30 open, then we'll go from there. If you're looking for a resistance level that goes to yesterday's high at 47.70.
If you are joining for the first time, let's just get right into it here because we are running short on time. Watchlist.tradertv.live. Get a free watch list because why not? Mobileye out with the revision on their full year 2024 guidance today. So yeah, not good right across the board for the numbers. You'll get into that in a sec. But I just noticed here, 27.20 coming into play. We're at session lows right now. Almost 32% here for MBLY.
Yeah, it's not a good look here, Brendo. What they're warning about is a sharp drop in first quarter revenue as a result of excess inventory by some of their top tier customers following supply chain issues in recent years. You'll recall that in 2022 we had the microchip shortage, and it looks like as if they built up a lot of inventory that they haven't been able to move. Big revisions here, Brendo. So full year revisions down from over $2 billion in revenue to about 1.6 to 1.8. It's not a good look. The stock is down well over 23%.
Yeah, I was just zooming out here a little bit on the daily chart. You got to go back to, I guess this was August, maybe an earnings report, or April, I should say, of this year, maybe an earnings report. We're through that, all the way back to January levels and through that. So what do we look at here, guys, for MBLY?
Pepto-Bismol? I don't know, like to get the Pepto out for Mobileye. If that's your thing, like some people, or maybe get the Jack Daniels, or if you're into bourbon, like that can be effective. I think the only reason why I was saying some expletives about it is because yet for Mobileye, the problem is they didn't participate in the rally as much as everybody else did. So when you talk about this being down 32%, this isn't down 32% after running up all of 2023 like a lot of other stocks were, where you're coming back into some reasonable pullback. This is not a reasonable pullback. Like, this is a stock which had a great IPO, no questions asked. It opened, it had a small dip, and then it was just, and this is late 2022 when it did it, but it peaked in early January and it never got through the previous highs. That's not a great sign when everything and their mother was going higher. So the last time it did this, so just get right into it, we don't have that much time. The last time it made a move like this was in April, and it immediately recovered. Oddly enough, that's when I decided to buy it finally. That doesn't look as good right now, obviously, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So it was about 35, 36 with a 34 support. I'm not sure we see that 34 support level. So right now you're looking at the all-time low of about 20, just underneath 25 bucks. And if you have there's another support level in here about 26. I can't see any way that we're not testing those today. When I sat down, there was the off chance that there was a fade off that big 34 level, and you've dropped another $4. So I'm now looking at the all-time low as a potential bounce spot for Mobileye. There's always a good chance of sandbagging it here because they don't report for another 3 weeks, which is a normal thing to do. But this is not a good look, man. Like I'm not buying any more shares of this stock, at least not right now, and I'm seriously considering what I want to do with the shares I have. But you don't make rash decisions in the long term. I'll give it a couple of days to simmer a little bit. But to say disappointed is an understatement.
Okay, so for me, I've completely changed the investing strategy moving forward. We've talked about that before. I'm not going to be investing in companies that don't make money. So Mobileye doesn't make money. I'm not going to invest in them. I hope it's a sandbag. It could be worse than what they're even saying.
It could.
And like Neil said, you got to watch out for that all-time low break of whatever it is. This is a short, probably until that earnings call. You know, I've been really short. I got some messages yesterday from a few people that were holding the Affirm short because I really pumped it for them, and they thought that it was a good call as well. Here north of 50. So what I was telling them, and if you're watching, I think you know who you are, it's just like, just be careful because of the short float, you know? So for Mobileye, they also have, so the only reason I'm saying that is like, you could be right now $7, $8 in the money, like I know some of you are, and especially on those puts that I recommended. But the thing is like, it can pop right back up in a heartbeat. So Affirm today, just down, same as the market, but Mobileye, same kind of a short float. They're both around 20%. So that could be something that pumps up Mobileye for sure. So watch out. It's down 30%. Obviously the shorts knew something, right? Or else there wouldn't be 20% short float. So just be careful. I could see definitely some short covering there in Mobileye.
Sandler today jumping on the bandwagon. This move down continuing. We learned late in the day yesterday, or afternoon I guess it was, that the headset that's coming in February could actually be the last week of January. And they got a patent, I don't know if you saw that or if you had taken off, but they got a patent so the screen on the outside has the ability to show what the person is looking at on the inside. So if you're in the room with them and they have this crazy headset on, you can have some sort of idea of what it is they're looking at, I guess.
Yeah, look, bad downgrade today. That's a third in a row now. Harsh Kumar, the analyst at Piper Sandler, is saying that he sees weak macroeconomic environment in China that's going to hurt Apple sales. Difficult comparisons he cites in 2023 and persistent currency headwinds. And he says, look, you know, the elevated interest in Apple's overall performance has kind of dwindled, so he sees a bad 2024 for Apple.
And also wants lower prices to add more for Apple, guys.
Well, until it isn't, well, how many times are you going to say it's a short till it's not?
I know how many times, like the last 7 days.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, actually it's more than 7 days. It was the fail of the 200 level. Yeah. So that was actually, what is that day? That was the 20th? No, even further back. We're talking about the 15th. No, 13th here. I'm just waiting my 15 minutes to go back. So it was this day and then the next day after. And there was probably 2 days that would have been here on the 18th. And then you had this, so 19th and the 20th of December. And then you can probably call this on the 28th another day where you had off the open. I guess it broke levels and then there was a short, but it broke levels and you didn't have an obvious entry for that short. Every other day has been pretty much on schedule since that fail at the $200 level. And it didn't really even touch 200, but Apple's been in a downward trend ever since. Short the pops has worked pretty much at the open, so until it stops working, all you gotta do is look for the levels. Yesterday, previous close and 87 were the two levels I was looking at. So today, you've actually got 3 that stand out there. It's not quite a double bottom, but 183.5. Yesterday's low, pre-market high. Yesterday's close, 184.25. And even if it breaks that, it has to be above 185, if not the close on the second, to me to be a reversal. Like you need convincing of a trend reversal on something like an Apple. So I'm just going to be waiting around. Like yesterday was sort of the same story. Just wait around for the first level to hit, and then take that shot. If the second level hits, take that shot, and so on.
Look, yesterday we talked about this. Apple was the #1 P&L name on the floor, and it was an absolute monster, and we shorted it right there, and it was just one of those kind of trades. And we'll probably do the same thing here today. Apple down 1%. It's not on the sticky note today, and that's just because I wasn't feeling as strongly about the short as I was the last, like I said, X amount of days when it was on the sticky note every day and was being traded quite heavily. So I'm going to wait just to see if we do pop up. I mean, 183 would be kind of interesting. I think it gets to there, no problem. But realistically, it's just the 184 level. There's not much else to do here with Apple. Wait for 184. If it comes back into yesterday's close, then we just short that and we have some outs here, 185 and change. So let's wait to see. Yesterday, we took about $1.50. It wound up dropping like $3, $4, $5, and we didn't have enough on for that. But yesterday, we'll see if we can get the same kind of love as we did here. This is my trade from yesterday, if I can find it real quickly here. What a great recap show that was yesterday. Thank you so much for all of the support. But here it is right here. So this was yesterday's trade, right? There it is. I mean, it's about as clear as possible. Look at that move to the upside. Look what we did. We waited like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so minutes to short the top. It was so nice. We hit it twice. Boom to the downside. This was 186 was written on the sticky note. So we wound up getting short right up there, and then down goes Apple. And like I said, it closed, well, it was 186. I guess the most it was $2. It closes in and around that 184. So that was a good move all the way back in. So let's see if Apple can do something very, very similar to that today. If it rips early, then we will short it. You can see right now it's trying to bounce off VWAP off after making that bottom at 182. Someone said that I pumped up Mobileye there, but not really, man. It only went up 50 cents. So let's just wait to see here. Well, that's good. We were talking about Mobileye here. Now it's here. So let's go, man. Maybe next time we'll get long before we start talking about these randos.
Just be aware, there's some crypto headlines coming across. Fidelity and Grayscale apparently filing 8A forms with the SEC in advance of potential ETFs trading on exchange. So maybe some more progress there as far as the BTC ETF. There's also Ford delivery numbers just came through. Nearly 2 million vehicles in 2023 were sold by Ford. That's up 7%. So, yeah. Not much reaction. Let's go to Micron. Piper Sandler not liking Apple, but liking Micron today, going to overweight with a $95 price target.
Yeah, which is interesting here because Micron's stock price surged about 70% in 2023, guys, while its revenues declined about 40%. So what does that tell you? That we're forecasting good earnings for this company in the future, and that's based essentially on the expansion of AI and the need for DRAM, a dynamic random access memory. So we'll have to wait and see how this one does, but nice comment today from Piper.
Yeah, we did give back most of that early pop that came on that note this morning. We're right back to essentially, or bounced off essentially where we ended yesterday, guys, for MU.
Look, I'm really liking some Micron here. It is the #1 name on the sticky note today. Actually, I closed my sticky note. Okay, so look, I wrote down that we really liked 82 long, right? We didn't come through there. Sharif's mic was live there, so that was a little dangerous.
Boom.
Okay, so I really like this 82 long, but you're not going to get it. I mean, I don't know. Again, like published sticky note goes up. 84 break, that's what we're looking for right now on Micron. I think we're obviously going to get it right now. Like I said, I'm not convinced about, it's just an upgrade. But the thing is like it didn't even drop really that much compared to some of the other names. I mean, we went from 87 down to 82. I guess we might have wicked that 81 and change down there as well. But I just like Micron breaking higher here. So again, you're going to try to find some relative strength versus weakness, right? If I think that the market's a little bit overheated to the downside, which I do. Remember I said like I was kind of thinking that today could be a pause day. Well, then let's trade strong names. So a breakthrough $84, I think, gets us where we want to go with Micron. So that's what I'm going to be trading. You have some clumped up areas right there. If you break through 84, I think 85 could be a little bit of a problem. That's where the 200 period moving average is. So I would just say watch out for that. That's 85 and change. But a break rate here of 84 is kind of what we're looking at. Couple days downside. Let's get back to this party going northbound here on Micron. So again, it's the number, here it is. It's the #1 name today. Whoops, that's my analytics on the sticky note. So we'll continue to pump that up, and you can go find it at Trader TV Sean. And thank you to Fabian for building that up at Trader TV Sean. Go find it. Bunch of messy writing over there on Instagram as well. But so far, Micron definitely a long that I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, on the chips, we talked about some Micron a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show, so I don't want to double down, and Sean just gave his thoughts. You can find mine by either rewinding or just going to my Twitter. But I want to mention AMD at least, because I feel like some of the other chip names we've kind of been leaving by the wayside. AMD with a great consolidation day yesterday. Look, it's been in a downward spin. A lot of things have been in a downward spin, but this was a pretty tight range at the bottom for AMD, hugging 134. It's made a bit of a double bottom here. So you got a great over-under opportunity on AMD. If it doesn't hold 134, obviously that's going to be a bad thing. I think you could trend down in. You got room down to 130. But if this can hold the open, hold that 134 at the open, and this market does want a green day, then this taking off the top looks interesting to me. I get into Intel as well, except I do feel like I'm more likely to trade some, like Intel is down 3.5% right now. Obviously they own a stake in Mobileye. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so like this is a situation where like I'm just looking at Micron and AMD today, because I'll probably stay away from Intel at the open just as things settle down because of the Mobileye connection.
Right, there was we'll go on to Walgreens here. They did report earnings. The initial move higher was eventually faded with the overall market move here. There was a call at 8:30 for WBA as well. So just a heads up, ton of volume already for Walgreens. But I mean, overall, something may be said on the call there for WBA.
Yeah, look, they beat on the top and bottom line, but it's still kind of a wishy-washy report. Look, they reported a net loss of $67 million this past quarter, but when you compare it to the previous year's quarter when they had to pay $3.7 billion for the opioid settlement, it's a big difference. Again, they beat on the top line, bottom line. The main story here is, though, the slash in the dividend. So they're slashing it from 48 pennies per share to 25. That's a marked decrease from the 7% down to 3.9. It's the first time they've done that in about 50 years, Brendo.
Yeah, so here's one of those comments from the conference call pointing to uncertainty in consumer spending and shifting behaviors, still pointing to further weakness possible here as well for Walgreens.
Oh goodness, like this is one of those, they cut their dividend in half as well. Like this is one of, down 5% for Walgreens. It was up before the call. I never want to see a reversal like that. The good news would be that you've got the 50-period moving average, which I generally like. I like the 50 and the 200 on earnings for like potential bounce zones. So this has support at 22.5, and it's got the 50-period at 22.5. If it gets all the way down there, it'll actually be 10%. So it'll be an SSR bounce play in that category. So outside of seeing that, I don't know how active I'd want to be in this reversal name. Had it been a little bit better, this was a clear, the clear level was up at 27 on my iPad today. Like I had 27 marked off. I wasn't even thinking about the 50 period because at the time it was closer to the top. So I was simply looking for a fade to break out at 27. I can throw that one in the rust bin, in the waste bin, because we're not getting back to that level today.
All right, I'm not going to pretend to act like I looked at Walgreens Boots Alliance. I do not like to trade random names like that on earnings. So I'm going to wait and pass on that. Remember, if it barcodes for a while, we'll wait to see if it gives a bottom or a top, and then we'll hit Walgreens Boots Alliance. But I don't prefer to trade names that have reported.
I was very excited this morning because coming up in the foreseeable future, you too are going to be able to use, what's it called? TikTok Fitness, powered by Peloton. So Sharif is going to be live streaming riding a Peloton on TikTok.
I've never ridden one, Brendo, but I don't mind trying.
Why not?
Look, I like 50% of this story, the TikTok part. You can remove the entire Peloton part. I have got no interest in that. No, but seriously here, TikTok really looking to expand in 2024, whether it's with fitness or shopping. We brought that headline for you yesterday. You're going to be able to actually watch a video on TikTok, and without even the creator's input in it, the AI will be able to detect the product and be able to sell it to you directly on TikTok. So you can circumvent going to Amazon.com and searching for the product. I do like that. I don't know about this headline.
Yeah, and there was that incentive part of it as well for creators, almost like an affiliate type of agreement where they'll get a cut of any sales that come through that from their video. So yeah, I mean, nice look here, guys, for Peloton this morning.
And Peloton's got a 14% short float, which always factors into it. It's hard not to like the look. I mean, obviously, they probably need all the help that they can get in a situation like this. And with that 14% short float, I'm not really thinking fade for a lot of reasons. It has to get to like $6.50 before you even think about a big. That's a big level there at 6.5, maybe even closer to 6.70. I don't see why it doesn't have a chance to get there again today. You just bounced off the 50 period, which is at 550. That's within spitting distance of us. You had a previous resistance at 580 that it could hold onto at the open. So at 930, if I can see buyers supporting, I don't know if you see 550, that 580 level, I think it's got room to get to that mid 650s. That's a nice little upshot there. The market is relatively weak. It's not bad to have a name in the pocket which has a squeeze potential, because sometimes when the market is weak, if you're looking for longs, either find a strong sector like oil the last couple of days, or find some kind of a low float or a high short runner which has a chance to go to the upside, and that's if you're not looking short.
All right, here we go. Someone in the chat said that I am Kenough or whatever, K-E-N-O-U-G-H. And I think it's a Barbie thing. So I wish Ramin was here right now. But hi.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it. I started watching the beginning of it, but no, I have not seen it yet. But apparently it's great. So shout out to everybody that likes Barbie. And Kenough, I guess. Kenough, I guess. Okay, so is that a good thing to be called that? Yeah. Oh, it's a good thing. Okay, good. Adair said it's a good thing to be called that. So thank you to everybody for that. All right, it's 9:27. Just real quick here. Peloton's a buy it. I think it's a good move. All right, YMM, just looking to see here if anything's moving. Alibaba, we actually pumped that yesterday. That was one of the Dollar Club members there yesterday was Alibaba. Pfizer continues to make moves to the upside. There's Apple with the sell. Shout out to you in the chat that asked me, is Apple a canary in a coal mine? I just think the market's weak, and I've been talking about that for a minute. So no, I think there's more weakness to come. I think Google could be weak, Amazon all those 100%. All those names continue to be weak, including the biggest and the baddest, and that is Microsoft, in my opinion. This is maybe the only name that I will be dip buying on weakness come end of January. Okay, let's get ready to rock and roll, man. We've got Micron on our mind. We've got Affirm on our mind. We've got Roblox. Oh, that was another name that I didn't talk about. This is a name that I also don't mind buying, but it's got to get down to 40 bucks at least before we do anything. So there's 40. There's the 50-period moving average on Roblox. And then another name that I continue to talk about that continues to work for people that are short, and congratulations, I talked about that story a little bit before. Watch out for Affirm. Affirm only down 0.7 today into 0.07 into a market that's 0.5% down. So potentially Affirm stays high a little bit, but not high enough for me, man. I'm gonna be shorting this name around $45, giving it to that 45.50 mark right there for Affirm. So we hit it yesterday and it was fantastic. So we'll just keep doing what we've been doing, man, and why not? It's really been working. Like I said, November, December, and now January, man. We're there. So let's just continue to do it. 45 short on Affirm. Maybe that comes in early.
Speaking about coming in early, I haven't seen anything on the imbalances that stand out, but Amazon being down that 2%, it just bounced off today, the 50-period moving average, which we've been talking about. There's room to the 50 on a bunch of stocks. There's room to the 200 on a bunch of stocks. With 30 seconds to go until we get the open, 145, that is your key line. It is actually even the open price, the pre-market low on Amazon today. If it can wick down there and bounce off that, that's a nice little quick scalpable level. I do like shorts in front of 148, but as you can see, I can probably go ahead and cancel that order. Not going to get it as we go to Adara to drop the countdown. It is Thursday. It is January 4th. It is going to be a wild market, which once again is looking weak. Thanks a lot, Mobileye. In 3, 2, and 1, ring it.
Yeah. Okay, so AMD, I'm still going to try to watch Apple off the jump here. We're watching Micron. Micron breaks through 84. It's probably going to happen early, and we're going to get punched into it. So let's be careful with that one if it does happen right now. Market trying to go back up to the upside. We'll watch out for Affirm. We're still watching Micron. Maybe that hits, maybe it doesn't. There goes Affirm. Congratulations to anybody that's short there. And you guys, again, you know who you are. There it goes, man. Good trade for that. Hopefully you get something out right now. Again, we've been short this thing almost $10 now in the money on on Affirm. ARM right now, no, ARM's going to be another one that I think heads to the downside a little bit here, so watch out for that.
Well, that one I hope it does.
Yeah, here it comes too. Yeah, me too. I think down in around 60 is where we thought this one could land as well. That's ARM, but I'm just going to be, market kind of bouncing around a little bit. We don't have an Apple trade in mind yet, but let's just wait to see where we go.
Apple is making a bit of a bounce. Sorry, Amazon just wicked the 145 as Apple's going to the upside. Tried to be a little bit quick with it through the 145 level, but did not get it fast enough. So there's your wick down in which we were just talking about, and then holding on. So if it comes back in, maybe for a little dip, I don't want low of the day out. I want just underneath that 145 number. And as I said, I'm just going to get rid of that order. I don't need an offer up there. If it gets up to 148, then I'm reassessing what's going on in this overall market.
We did it. We did it again. There's a hot dog cannon time again. There's Apple right there, instantly in the money, another 50 cents for Apple. So there it is. That's another trade right there. So, I mean, let's go Apple, man. We told you it wasn't on the sticky note, but I told you we're going to be watching it. And here we go. Apple right now, 50 cents in the money off that not big short, but a short back into VWAP. So let's wait to see if it goes. All right, now we got to switch over to our long bias because let's go Micron. And here we go again. Oh, no. Let's go Micron. This is another one. It's the #1 name on the sticky note. And let's see if it can make a little bit of money there. We get something out at 20, but let's now wait. This is Micron. It's in the building. Let's see what we could do with that one as it breaks a little bit higher. So we've got Micron long and we've got Apple short. Let's see if these names continue to work, man. Where's our Micron out now that it's fading out a little bit? We have VWAP at 83.50. So let's watch out to see if it gets down that low. Micron, early take. We don't like getting in too much when we break the top, but that gives you those big wins. It can also give you these losses. Remember last week we had AMD and we had Microsoft. Two names that we busted the top and then it busted our face. So let's wait to see what happens right now with Micron.
Yes, sir. And I love that look on Micron. But the thing about the breakout trade is like the trend of the market sometimes is a bit of a beast. Mobileye is only going to the upside, so no trade there for me just yet. I am into Amazon right here at 15.16. So it's holding on to 145 for now. I had a chance to take 40s on it and didn't do it. And I feel like I'm going to regret not scalp trading it. A lot of times at that open look, It's going to give you a chance for the scalp trade. I do believe sometimes you should take it, but I'll perfectly acknowledge I did not take that bounce off 145. Going over to Peloton for you guys. This is now bouncing off that 560. I like 550, but it bounced off 560, so a little bit of a miss there. It did not quite get to my price. Apple is almost there. I'm on the offer of Apple, looking for that pre-market high. I did like the pre-market top at 183, but now this pre-market level here at 182.50. Was on the note. Did not get the fill because I was on Amazon at 145 at the open, but Amazon did not work out despite the market being relatively strong. I think you've got an opportunity here in Tesla. We didn't talk about Tesla. Sorry, guys. We didn't get to everything this morning. That was a bit of a missed opportunity there for us. Pre-market and yesterday's afternoon top, 241.5. If the market is going to have an update, Tesla is poised to have one of those, oh, you forgot about Tesla moments? So let's watch for that.
Yeah, Tesla, one of 4 names on the sticky note, man, and we're going to continue to watch that. Micron, let's go, man. There it is. Nice little move. We just got out of some 20s there on Micron. Try to be patient with this one. But again, we're starting to lighten up a little bit because of where it's going, and it's not making those ripping moves to the upside right now is Micron. So we'll just wait. We'll just wait. Like, as I said, we're actually out of a third of this trade right now. That is MU. So we'll wait to see where that one goes. But so far, so good on Micron. So let's wait. Okay, that's that. Apple right now, we did get reloaded a little bit on this one. We're going to watch out for 183. If it takes down 183, we are going to be out of this because, again, we're already long Micron, so we don't want to dance too much with this stock, but we will get a piece out if it does come up too far. And right now, we'll try a little bit of a short up here on Apple again, and then just to see if it does fade back in. We are now short Apple 182.60, so that's not the greatest trade right now as that's starting to get back up to the upside. And like I said, man, I mean, we're still trying to talk about the things that
strong.
Yeah, and we said the market today. This is why, man, don't sleep on these moves. I mean, the market, I was a little jittery on where we thought this market would go, but for right now, we're short Apple. We just got a piece out there at 75. We're short at 70. We averaged it in. We got an 88 fill, which gave us that opportunity to do that. So let's see if Apple wants to fade out the rest of the day. This could be another banger for your boy here today. So let's wait to see if this one wants to work. But 183, if it takes that, then we're gone.
Yes, sir. I have my stop at about 183. I don't like even dollar stops. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like to give it at least a few shekels above that price. If it's the middle of the day, we have a big consolidation, fair enough. But until it gets to that level, we have to make a judgment call. It's looking very strong. Tesla might break out any second. Coinbase 150 is here again, and it just wicked the bottom at that 150. When it did the wick bottom yesterday, it was a great run to the upside. So if the market has a chance to go up, just double checking Bitcoin, didn't want anything crazy happening. I am going to look for a scalp trade on Coinbase off the 150. It was a missed opportunity to catch a little bit of that off the level yesterday, so I'm going to look for that today.
Yeah, 183 is going to go. 183 just went. All right, so we got to watch out for, you know what, man? All right, I'm going to switch over to the long now on Apple. Let's just see. Again, I don't want to be... This is like the opposite of revenge trading now because I'm not reshorting it. I'm just back into the long. I'm into a long right now. Again, could be a little bit of back and forth nonsense right here. So we're going to be very, very careful with what happens here with Apple. 182.50 maybe for a stop now on Apple back into VWAP. So, you know, let's wait to see what happens here. We're net long, obviously. We're 2 longs. And there goes Apple. So I guess, again, getting out at 183, not a great decision, and then especially not a great decision to flip long. So we said we had some indecision here in the market today, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening right now to me. So 182.50 here as a possible out for Apple, and then we'll just regroup and see where we go. But 182.50 for me.
I'm covering some flat if I get back at them.
I think we'll be out.
Okay, I was about to say the tape looks bullish on Apple, and then I just saw a guy show up on the offer for 50,000 shares, which that's just going to help. That's going to help what looks like a bullish stock right now. It got to the 183. It wicked it. I'll zoom back in for you. It wicked the top. I'm like, okay, it doesn't break the 10s, which was where my stop is. I don't like an even dollar stop. I tried to add to it for that price to give the tighter stop for the re-entry and didn't get the fill. I'm going to cancel it. But based on the way that this was trading to the upside, I'm taking some out flat. It's just, well, I mean, it's slightly in the money, but you get the point. I'm taking some out before it gets down to original targets, which is closer to 182, because of what I saw on that tape. It was very strong, and sometimes you get lucky. I don't think, I mean, look, I think it's a short till it's not, but that was some pretty strong tape at the open. Coinbase bounced off 150. I didn't chase. A lot of times I don't chase a move like that. This time I just said, that's ridiculous. I'm not missing a 150 move. I got almost 151s. Thankfully, it just went to 152 to give the first buck. But I wanted that little tight to the 150 level on Coinbase because that's the key price that we are looking for. If you're looking at Mobileye on the earnings play, it is still bouncing. It's actually not that volatile, to be honest with you. So it's really not all that bad. That kind of puts, they might put Intel back into play for me because I'm not seeing the ridiculous volatility on Mobileye at the open. That would have scared me. Well, it didn't scare me away from trading Intel. I've never traded Intel when Mobileye was going absolutely buck wild. So I wanted to make sure I saw what was happening first.
Oh my God, guys, talk about Mobileye. Wow, wow, I mean, again, like, I'm looking at other names there, which I'm fine doing because it's just the Apple trade was the bad one. The Micron one I'm fine with until it breaks, of course. But wow, did we ever talk about a bump there in Mobileye on that short, man? It was down 31 or 32%, so nice little 5% back up there for Mobileye. Wow, congratulations, anybody that bought that dip. That was a good talk for sure. This is when we started talking about Mobileye right here. So that's a nice move back to the upside. Possibly watch out for that $30 top. Again, another very, very key level on Mobileye. So watch out for that. Yeah, I feel like Apple probably is trying to get to the downside there. We got out some there when it broke through 50. We talked about that. We got long out, short out. Both fell on our face. Let's wait to see what happens now with Apple. Hopefully retracing back up to the upside, and then we'll get some more out. So right now we are sitting at 78 to get some out here on Apple, and then if it continues to go, great for that. It doesn't look like Micron wants to do the dance, man. We were able to get some out when it came back up, and now we're buying through VWAP again. But it's funny because I was like, oh, I don't want to go long. It's only just Apple that's the long for me. That's the problem. I always wanted Micron. So either way, if this one falls down, that's completely fine. And it's just like, now I got to get, there it is, so it's dropping in a little bit. Where's my stop? So it's getting pretty close, breaking back down through 84 here to get stopped out on Micron. 383. The idea here about Micron, again, is that, you know, they got that upgrade. I kind of like the long there coming through, but we know the market's not in a long, so sometimes fighting that is not going to be something that is a great idea.
The only thing I will say we're going to go to Dare in a second. I still like Micron long. It was a huge liquidity grab yesterday at the open. It did $1.50 of a liquidity grab. So I almost feel like, is it really over if it doesn't break the lows, if it doesn't break that 82.5? So I'm still looking to grab a dip buy. We'll see how it works out. I got a bit of a reprieve on Apple, so I'll be fortunate for that. Coin coming back in. I want to see if I need to reload this on Coinbase. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Small cap name making a move to the upside right now. SMFL pulling back a little bit here, but up almost 50%. No news on this one that I'm seeing right now, but the float is 773,000 roughly. So this is a very low float name here, SMFL.
Go.
Oh, you said Roblox, but there's a name I wanted to get to.
Oh, is there Roblox going?
No, you said Affirm, and then I remembered Unity.
Oh, yeah, Affirm.
Unity. I like the stock. Actually, I like saying it.
Really?
Okay, I'm just gonna slap. I'm gonna slap the fail on myself for this because Unity's been a stock that's been a good short. I think everybody knows that. So it did the pop and drop off of yesterday's afternoon's top. I've missed that. It's now flat bottom broken it. So when I say Unity, that I'm not pumping the stock. I actually think the opposite for them. So don't want to get confused. But if it cannot get back through yesterday's low, which would be turning green, I want to short the pop. It's down, it broke the lows when the market is going up, and it's been in a trend to the downside. That's enough for me.
All right. We're getting into a enough for me situation as well right now, because if Micron continues to go down, that'll be enough for me. So let's wait to see. We're about to break through 83. We've just got another price here. So our average price is 77 here on Micron. it's good. Like I said, it was a good thing that we got some up there, out up there. But look, man, the market's still doing the same thing. And I wrote down, let's not take longs until 16.6. But the market's still getting faded, and down goes Apple. We had that short initially. That's not working out for us right now either. So there comes the long for Apple. Looks like it's going to break through 182 as we speak. So again, I'm trading with a significant amount of shares, and when it broke that level, I had to get out. So unfortunately, that was a bad call by me on that one. So we should have probably held into that short. But again, I sort of did like it. So what are we going to do about it other than have our stops? So, okay, back over to Adara, and we'll just hope that Micron can get back up. We have 3 times the shares in Micron that we do in Apple. What's up, Adara?
Not a huge reaction from the stock right now, but a news story coming out for SoFi here. Accelerating retirements with a 2% match on IRA contributions, which is doubling the previously announced 1% IRA match. This was offered in late 2023. So 2% match on IRA contributions for SoFi, guys.
Nice. That's a nice number.
Oh, a bounce off $8. Okay, not quite $8. 8.14. 8.14. Yesterday's low. Let me go to my 3-minute to show you guys yesterday's low. Oh goodness, it's a recovery through yesterday's bottom right now and SoFi. This is a good reversal pattern if it can break out this open range here, like 837. It's not really the opening range. It's kind of like where it closed yesterday and where it was at the open for the final 10 minutes. So call it 840 that it needs to get through. So the new position for me was just Unity. Now, admittedly, I should have this short if I'm planning it properly, either when it breaks right at the open and I scalp some out for 50 cents, or I'm getting it like at a lot better price up here at 37.30. But beggars can't be choosers. I'm now short off the 37 level, and I got 36.74. So 30 cents worth of risk. Call it. If it gets down to the low of the day, we're going to take some profit out there. So we'll see what happens with Unity. It's a little bit late to the party. And if you're wondering about Affirm, because they've been doing the same thing, Affirm actually broke the low and is holding for now. So it broke 43 like twice to the downside, and I pulled it up after looking at Unity, and it's starting to bounce. So if this had held under 43, I think this would have been the day you could just kind of pencil in you're going to get to 40, but it's still finding some buyers for now. It's still early though. It's only 15 minutes into the market. You don't want to go away from your plan too much. I want to update Coinbase. It got to 52s, took some out. I'm looking for the pre-market top, yesterday's highs, in front of 155. I'm getting out of this bad boy. It's kind of a grip and rip. I'm long in front of the 150 level. I'm going to risk a buck on the rest. I'm going to hold this until 55 and try and get 3 or 4. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
We did just get some numbers here. So S&P Global Composite PMI final coming in at 50.9 compared to the forecast of 51, so 0.1 lower than the expected here. We also had S&P Global Services PMI final coming in at 51.4. So this one was 0.1 higher than the forecast of 51.3. Market not seeming to react too much to this, moving just, again, so slightly above the pot, slightly in the green here, guys.
Yeah, crossing far enough. We're talking about some Coinbase, some stocks moving around here for sure.
And spreading a little bit.
Yeah, we've got, let's see if we can get that bounce. Thanks for the number there, Adara, right now. So that's what we're going to wait for to see if there's something popping off here for these economic numbers, trying to get back up to the upside right now. I'm just making sure that I have the right amount of trades and availability here to have liquidity to get out. We just got out of Micron a little bit there, went up to VWAP. Again, look, we were long at 76s or something like that. To get something out into the 50s, again, for me, well worth it. We talked about the amount of shares there, so let's just wait. Apple, for me, I just looked at it. I kind of want to play off that very bottom wick there that we bought up off the beginning of the day, that first candle. So again, I'm not, just like the last couple of days, we were very, very confident, holding the short, being, comfortable with the direction of the market. It's actually just kind of funny because I was very, very uncertain of what the market wanted to do today. And look what we're doing. Barcoding. We haven't done anything. So we're dead right about our analysis of the market today. It's just, it's going to need to do something, and I'm just hoping it breaks long, but it could easily be the other way. So let's just watch out for all of that. Right now, we have our stops in. Apple a little bit lower than that. We'll get out, which is crazy because could have been, again, the largest trade of the day if I had just stuck with the gut there on the short against that 200 period. Thought the market might have been turning around and we went long. So that's really the mistake there for me on Apple. But again, still happy. We had the right call. We just let it go. So that's the thing. Got to be happy with the trade, just not happy with the execution because now we're going to lose on a little bit of a higher long. But it's not that many shares. It's Micron is the one that's a problem. Although it's getting a little bit better because we lightened up, but the stock is now looking to break 83. And when it does that, then we're going to get out of here.
So SSR territory in Walgreens, by the way. Walgreens down 11% right now. That happened a lot faster than expected. I guess the markets don't like it when you cut your dividend in half. They probably don't. They don't like it in this case. If you're looking for an SSR bounce, the even dollars are usually like 22, 22 and a half are levels. You got the 50 period in there. But I want to get to Unity, which is a trade that I just like a little bit better. Got it. It's VWAP right now, but that doesn't necessarily matter in front of the pre-market low. And then this lower high here at 36.40 took that out there. So a little bit better than the 1-to-1, risking back into 37. We're able to grab 30 cents on it. We're risking about 25 to 30, depending on slippage, which in this morning, there's been a little bit more. When Sean talks about it being whippy, one of the things that we mean by that is the stocks have a little bit bigger of a spread. If it usually has a 1 and 2 cent spread, I'm looking at 4 or 5 sometimes, and sometimes 10, 15. Coinbase, I saw a 30 cent spread at a point where I was expecting half. So let's go back to the desk with Adara. Be patient when the market is like that.
Novo Nordisk here getting a nice pop to the upside earlier today, announcing that they're collaborating with some companies for research related to obesity and metabolic dysfunction. This one up about 2.5% right now, NVO.
Yeah. All right. Apple's still falling right now, so we gotta be careful. We're now long at 182.15s. Any kind of a bump up, we should take something out here because the market just broke the 50-period moving average. So we tried to be positive today for everybody. We tried, but it doesn't look like it wants to do that. Nice downside move and just continuing, right? Like if we had just kept our bear case, then it would be a little bit of a different situation here today. But that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but its stocks continue to move down. So there's Apple coming right into its low again right there. I just should have just stayed short, man. I mean, it would have been multiples right now. Good trade there. I know Neil's still short. It's going to be a good one moving forward. Let's just wait to see. There it goes, taking down the bottom right now for Apple.
Oh my goodness.
And again, I talked about this. I said the one thing I have to correct is just probably too many shares there on these top breaks. And it's just like that was going to be the problem here for Micron. And again, when you trade a little bit less shares, you can hold a little bit more against you, but then you don't make as much money when it works, right? So I got to be very, very specific with what I'm doing, but I'm not going to change anything. It's you're still, the results still speak for themselves. So I'm not, if I can go, like I said, I think it was 3 or 4 red days last month. If that ratio can continue, we'll be good. But right now we're going to go 0 for 2 and be red here today.
Never adjust unless the market tells you to. You know what I'm saying? Like the only adjustment I'm making today is because I'm saying like it has to be some kind of sustained change in the way the market's going. But the adjustment I'm making today on Coinbase is I'm going to treat my stops a little bit different. I actually just missed a stop out through 151 on Coinbase, and I had an order thrown out there. So you're going to see this as a short sell, but that's because I had a sell order that did not get filled and then just punched out manually. So that ended up in a little bit of extra slippage on that trade. I was looking to not have to get close to break even. I wanted to get out a little bit in front of it and not give up an extra 20 or 30 cents. But the spread is consistently, like it's now 30, it was just 30 cents on Coinbase. I'm making a bit of adjustment on that stock. I'm not going to stay away from it, but it's just a little bit weird. It's a little bit more volatile, so it is what it is. I might have got a bad wick there, punching out manually. As far as Apple goes, if it cannot hold this bottom, I think it's a hold. It is holding the bottom. The pre-market low is generally my target. It was a little bit, I'd say a little bit sloppy on the first entry because 183 held to 183.09. So if you're like me, I could have used an 05 stop. I used a 10 stop, technically 11, but that's sometimes a little bit lucky. Like I've been stopped yesterday. I was stopped out in SoFi at the absolute. I made the top wick. This time I missed it by 1 cent. So SoFi would have been my best stock yesterday, ended up being a loss. I'm up on Apple, and I was saying it on the way down. It looked like a very strong stock at that moment. But as long as it's holding this bottom, I'm just going to do nothing until it either breaks back above the pre-market low or retests that low of the day, and there's a decision to be made. Unity is now starting to scream back up with the market going back to the upside. This is a case where I don't think I want to hold it into that 37. You're making a higher low, so if it can't hold on to 80s, I'm going to be a little bit tighter to the vest with this and then wait for a better price. I did say that I missed the ideal entry point for myself on Unity short, so there's no need to be anchored to where I got in. I can wait for the better price if it's about to come in there. So I'm going to be just above break even for the out on Unity. It was a good opportunity and a good trade, but definitely a little bit late to that party and gave up an extra 30, 40 cents on Unity.
All right, we're back now. We're finally, 30 cents on Unity isn't really that much, I guess, the way that thing moves. All right, so here we go. Apple, nice little move to the upside right now. Finally, we'll take a little bit of a win on this name as we bought that dip. I mean, there it is right now, right? When she dips, we dip, we dip. Nice move on that one. Hopefully, it will now rip back up to said upside. That would be nice if you can do that, Apple. Our net is getting well improved right now, so all is well on that front. So let's go. Here comes Apple now, 18 cents. We just talked about it. I'm going to get some more out here because I feel like we are potentially looking this gift horse in the mouth, right directly in its big ugly ass mouth. So we're going to wait to see on that one. All right, here goes Mike.
It is ugly.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go right now. Micron, we did buy the dip. We just got out of some more here. So we're actually kind of cruising right now if this market can get back up. I mean, we just take advantage of this move. You have to do it, right? When the market's doing this, you got to sit there and watch out for bump back up. Like the short has been completely right this morning. The longs have been wrong. So any kind of a bump up, I think it's worth taking something out, right? So that's why we do empty out a little bit there on Apple. And look, we want to take more on Apple, but you don't need to get back to completely flat in order to make money, right? And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait to see if Apple can just get out of this. We'll take the L on any kind of a move back to the upside. And quite frankly, our net is completely fine. Do we have Frank Caberna on tonight? Yes, we do. So there we go. If you want to know more about rates and all that kind of stuff and where this market might be going, Brendan highlighted a little bit of that earlier today, but check us out at 2:45, Frank Caberna coming through. So that should be a lot of fun.
What do you have? What the heck was that?
And then just watching out here. Come on, Apple. I'm going to take another piece out here at 94. Again, like we're just really happy with the results right now that we're experiencing. So let's get back up to the upside here and make some of this money back, man. I mean, where?
Thank God that was not a short on coin. Holy crap! At least I just got out flat.
Yeah.
Because if that was a short, that would have been the absolute worst possible time to go short on coin. It was not a great time to get out, and it was a liquidity grab to the downside. If you heard me just say what the heck, that was actually in reference to Micron. I'm looking for the long. I wanted to dip buy into 82.5, the pre-market low. The actual bottom is 83 right now, so that gives you 50 cents to work off of if it holds it. But then I got this wick that came out of nowhere at 85. So the bottom is 83. I know it's a little bit skewed on that chart. I'm looking to be long in there, in front of the 50 level. Franz in the chat asking, what about Mobileye? To be honest, like, what about it? It's down 25%. It's not really going ape, you know what. It's very calm, actually. About to test the $30 level. I think 34 is a really key level. If it breaks out, it's got a lot of room to run to the upside. And for myself, Apple, there's no VWAP trade because we're still about 50 cents away from that for a test. The market is trying to go higher, and I'm looking for a long that isn't Micron, which I liked on a dip buy. And now that I've gotten out of coin too early, it was a good scalp trade, but my intention was to hold some to 55 with a trail at break even. Right, so this is a situation where, on Apple, I put a stop. It was fortunate enough not to hit. On Coinbase, I put a stop, and it did hit. And that's how trading goes. Like, that'll be a little bit frustrating. SoFi, we're going to get to, but it's making that break through 840 only just now. So I'd like to see if this can hold a nice little consolidation and give me something off the pre-market lows or VWAP, and then join the party to the upside. Thank you to Dara for that story. SoFi been a bit of a rut, up 1% today.
Yeah, SoFi is a problem, but nicely done today for sure on SoFi. I mean, my mind is just still very, very focused on some of these trades because they're not working out. So we got to be very, very careful here with exactly what we're doing in this market. And there goes Apple. So Apple does fall down into that one. The short continues to be right everywhere. As again, this market. We talked about that 16.5. We talked about that 16.6. But talk all you want. I mean, it's still, you know, the short is still there. We're trying to buy some longs here today, but I mean, it's just not working. So the one that's making the move a little bit to the upside, which I'm waiting to see if we can get some fills, and that was going to be a firm. That's just right now at the 200 period, looking pretty juicy for a short. I still think that if the market goes, we do want to try to get that 44.50 or so area. So that would be something a little bit more for me. Micron just keeps on dancing down here. Like I just,
it's keep bouncing up.
This is going to be another spot where we're going to have to. We've gotten some out. Like it's not even close to the loss that it was earlier. That's thankfully these dips have held. But for right now, it's coming back in, and yeah, whether or not this dip holds now, uncertain. So. Continues to be a problem here. That is Micron. And then Apple really just boom, like that short off that 200 sucks because we should have had it and we don't. So there goes Apple. Well, we did have it, but nice move to the downside now. And, you know, we shouldn't have counted our chickens before they hatched there and just stayed into the short with Apple. But, yeah, like you guys said, like Pedro, look, I said it, man. I had it on the sticky note as like the #1 trade idea for the last couple of days. And then today I was just like in la la land and did not think about that short. And I actually flipped into the long. So that's why it's even worse. All right, that's trading so far today. I hope you guys are enjoying and having some good winners. I'll try to find some for sure.
There's been a few, like Unity. Yeah, we'll see about Unity in a second. But Micron is the other stock I'm looking at, which might not be. And is literally, as Sean was saying that, I got long Micron in front of 83, talking about the longs. And I only have one short on because we got out of our other short, which looked pretty fantastic at the moment. But
the market
Apple,
is just
180, I think, is a buy zone on Apple. And I think the reason I say that, is the 200 period moving average is typically a good zone for institutions and people that are on the sidelines and all that good stuff where they want to buy. But the new position for me was this Micron. It's held 83. I know that's going to be tough to see here. Sean's chart shows it better when we're looking at it. So you can see 83 was a bounce zone, and then it held at about 83 30s and 40s with a top at 50. So I just got 11s, and if I can get 30s and 40s, I take some out there just to try to grab some kind of a bounce play. Now, I do like Micron because of the overall trend, where it's bouncing from, the liquidity grab yesterday, but it's a little bit heavy with the market. It's holding support, at least above yesterday's tops, which is generally a good sign. But at some point, you don't want to fight it anymore. And it's about to break it, to be honest with you. So it might break it any second now. And then just going back over to Walgreens, it is struggling to get off the bottom here. Oh, these charts. It's starting to get off the bottom. It's holding on to the lows. It needs to break this 23. It's a consolidation bottom, which is pretty solid. Give me one out, Micron. It's a consolidation bottom, which is pretty good. I'm looking for an SSR bounce here, but I don't want to rush into it. I want to see buying, join buying. It hasn't done it yet. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, the markets here continuing to kind of waffle around that 0% area, slightly positive right now, coming off of a couple days of weakness as we began 2024. We did get some economic data earlier today. The S&P Global Composite numbers more or less lining up with the estimates there, but we do have non-farm payrolls coming tomorrow, so that's definitely going to be on watch with regards to the market. Now we're seeing a little bit of a move to the upside here, up about 0.09 right now for the S&P. In terms of individual stocks moving up, Peloton up about 8% and continuing to rise after announcing a collaboration with TikTok for TikTok Fitness powered by Peloton. So it's definitely a move to keep an eye on. We also have Walgreens. So initially moving upwards on earnings, now moving to the downside after a conference call in which the executives said that they're anticipating a pullback in customer spending. Last but not least, we actually have Canaan, CAN is the ticker. This is one of these Bitcoin-related stocks after collaborating with Cipher Mining's, entering an agreement to with relation to model mining machines and working on Bitcoin miner purchase orders. So keep an eye on CAN here, guys. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a virtual funded trading account up to $1 million and keep up to 90% of the gains. The program has simple rules, 100% payout record. Go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off.
All right, man. I mean, meanwhile, yeah, congratulations to everybody, man. I mean, it's been a really good day here trading. If you've been short, the long has also worked, man. We are actually making some cash on Micron, man. I mean, now finally a nice little dip buy opportunity into 83. We've done it so many times and just gotten out. So as long as you don't have this breakout at 84 and you have the 83 dip buys, man, you are cash money. And we do have a brand new position that we've already made money on, so it's pretty good. Let's go to the upside here with Google now. We just got some pieces out there into the 50s and to the 60s. Let's get going upside here for Google. Hopefully that will work out. But again, a couple good outs on Micron, man. 45 was our best. Let's see where Micron goes from here.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to see that one go up, to be sure. Oh, I just got rid of this wick. Apple, I'm out of Apple. You guys will see that just now. I swear I just got rid of this wick. It made a bounce off the bottom, and I got a cover here just above 181.50. That'll be a little bit tough to see. So you got a 183 top. I just trailed it out, 183.50. The other thing that was happening in that moment was the market was retesting the NASDAQ, I should say. The NASDAQ retesting 16.5, which has been the opening top. This is a 15-minute chart. This is the opening top. Looked like it had a chance to break back out. Apple was strong early. It did make a move into the bottom. Missed getting stopped by a couple of cents. And even on Micron, when it came into that 83 zone, it held it pretty decently. Just got a couple outs in front of VWAP. Next stop, if it holds above VWAP, look for long, stair-stepping above VWAP and into the pre-market top and the open range top, which is about that 84 level, which is a good target for Micron. The market is starting to show signs of waking up, and Coinbase is now up 2%. Slap the fail on that one. To me, it's a fail because it had it on and probably didn't give it enough room. But once it failed VWAP the way it was doing in a bit of a downward trend, it's been a downward trending stock, and I want to have a little bit of a quicker trigger if I'm going what is against the trend, which that long was against the trend at the open. But it is absolutely flying now, and it's not the only thing moving.
Let's go.
You can probably guess that Mara is going to be at the high of the day as well. So the only thing I got on is the long. We just covered our Apple short. Looking for a little love on not just Mobileye, but also on Walgreens if it can make a bit of an SSR bounce.
Yeah, maybe now you guys will understand why I mentioned that about Walgreens, about why I stay away from stocks when they report. I mean, Walgreens today was up 3 or 4%, right? And then it was just like boom to the downside now and just like cracked it lower and lower and lower. So that's why we stay away from that. And that's why we go back into this one. It's Google, right? We stay with what we know a little bit here. And Google right now with, again, a really nice play there for Google as it's starting to make a couple moves here back and forth. That's Google. We're long 25 cents now in the money. And again, it just fell back in. Again, a name that just was hitting some levels. We were going to get out around 138 if that did happen. But right now, it's all good. And we're making some money back and some decent money back too here with Micron. So that's going to be another good one. There goes Google. We just got 35 cents. Micron's right here at VWAP again at 50. So for me, that's enough, man. We'll get out here on Micron and see what we can do now. So nice out there at 50. Good for that. We're going to wait. What about Tesla, they say? All right, so I wrote down Tesla 233. Nowhere near there right now. So we'll have to wait to see if and when Tesla wants to do a dance to the downside. It didn't really go. It's up 0.8. Tesla pretty strong today. This could be a name that you guys are looking at if you're looking for strength today for sure. Come on, man. We almost broke that VWAP. Hopefully it can come back in and we'll do that. Google fell back in. We're at a half of that one, so that's good so far. And then Micron. I mean, I'm still talking about the same names, and it's because those are the names I'm in right now. So we'll just continue with them, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of profitability on these names moving forward. So it's Micron and Google for me right now. Probably going to look for some weak names to get the short because this market right now just kind of steady, but hopefully up to VWAP. Yeah, I'm hoping so, not yet too.
I just grabbed Peloton long, which is probably why I'm saying that. At the end of the day, you're going to cheer for what you have and what you're looking for. And this is a strong stock. We said Peloton being a squeeze name has a chance to go even if the market stays weak, because of the 14% short float. The TikTok story is obviously going to be something that grabs people's attention. I don't think it's all that. I don't think it's necessarily going to change the outlook for the business automatically that I would want to buy this thing personally. But as a trade, it finally held the 580 level, which I liked. So it got into VWAP. I wanted to see it hold that 580, which it just did. So there's your wick to 75. There's some buyers that stepped in above 80. I bought 83, so I'll give it underneath 75, so about 10 cents worth of risk. If it breaks up into the 90s, take some out at that 1-to-1. And then if it gets through 6, try and hold on to a piece for the top. Wow, Coinbase. 157 on Coinbase.
Yeah.
Right? That's not bad at all, Coinbase. That's not going to age well. Like the long on coin holding the 150 level, we took the reservation. We didn't keep the reservation on Coinbase. At least we're able to hold on to Apple, but wow, that's intense. And I said Unity, I'm going to move my stop from 37 quarters on that move, giving it a bunch of room for it to fall further to a tight stop based on what I was seeing in terms of the action. Held the higher low, wasn't falling like a rock, actually showing some strength on a wick bottom. So that's a bit of an adjustment. The market was telling me, oh, you missed the early short, you took the late one. Hey, I don't like it as much as I thought I did. Let's just get out tight. And that looks like it's the right call. If it can fail the pre-market high, that'll always be a decent re-entry. But as I said, the new position was a long, not a short. And that was in Peloton. Sharif's new favorite I can't even say that with a straight face. He's never getting on a Peloton, let's be real. He's not.
Well, I mean, you don't do any what do you do for cardio? I run, so he runs. So,
I thought you just only lifted like.
No. So, Peloton, it's one of the highest quality, if you ride, one of the highest quality bikes
Everyone I know that has one says it's a ridiculously great bike. Three people in our fantasy football league, 30% of the league has a Peloton, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a 10-person league. It's not like it's a 20-person. It's a 10-person league.
Yep. We have a Peloton and like it. My daughter's on it all the time as well. Great product for sure, Peloton. Okay. All right. Micron again making that move. We're still waiting to see what's going on with all of these trades. I'm trying to find basically. The name that I want to go long on, I feel like is going to be Tesla. I'm just thinking about this 240 level. So we need to dip down a little bit into that level. Because I'm net long everything else, it's kind of like I don't want to buy something that's potentially not at, the right level, because then if it falls down, then I'm just sort of adding to some of the areas of concern here. I'm going to get out another piece on, there it goes. Just got out another piece. We got a great fill there on Google near the top side. I mean, this Google trade at 138.85 or something like that, definitely a trade. So let's put it back there and see if we can get that. So we'll wait on that. But right now, that's going to be Google. Let's put an order all the way up. Is there any stocks that you guys want me to look at?
SoFi book 8.
SoFi back up to the upside. Okay, I can look at that. I mean, we want some momentum. SoFi's been a good stock. We talked about that. SoFi versus Robinhood. I tweeted something out yesterday. Thank you for everybody for participating in that right now. But the funny thing is, man, we're going to be down on Apple. That's for sure. But Micron is not, the story on Micron is not done. So let's just wait to see what happens with Micron right now. Everyone wants me to look at Palantir, Rivian, these kind of names. Good, because I like them. So let's have a quick look here. Tesla's still breaking that 240. Actually, you know what? I could look at Tesla here. I will go back to some of these. But Tesla breaking this 242 is something pretty interesting to me as well. So I feel like we got to watch out for that. That looks like a pretty decent level right there. Also, the 50-period moving average on this 20-minute chart. So maybe Tesla has the love that we think it has here to the upside. So let's keep on watching that. And then Micron just wicked that top at 66. So let's put an offer in and around 60 to get out another piece on that one. So yeah, man, rough start, but not a rough ending. It's not even close to being over, but not as of 9:40, we've been doing pretty good. It was before then. It was the Micron top break and then me not believing in the short that I've loved, and that's Apple. So, all right, let's go. Hopefully Micron gets that fill, and I'll do some more work on Palantir and stuff and think about if we really do like that Tesla long.
Yeah, Tesla's been strong, man.
Go Google.
I'm looking, it's a stair step to the upside, higher lows. I'm in another strong name. The market seems like it wants to break out here. We're almost, the NASDAQ's almost green. SoFi's up that 2%. I just grabbed the 850s on SoFi on a little bit of a, it's a bit of a dip. It got to 56. I want to give this to 40. So I took some at 50 with the intention of getting something in the mid 40s if we can, and then hold that to the 840 level, give it about 10 cents on the initial entry, but really I'm looking to risk 10 cents if I get a little bit of slippage. So I want to add to it maybe at the 45 if I see some buying step into it. Peloton, which we just got into, oh, give me a break. Like it actually tagged, really just tagged 90. Yeah, I was sitting at 90. This is sometimes the reason if you hear a trader say like don't sit at the even dollar if you want to scalp something out, sit 9s instead of 10s. Or sit 99s instead of 100 or something along those lines. It got to 90. There was not that much size, and I was on a free gateway, but I didn't get to fill. So that's a bit of a failed, missed opportunity. But I still like the VWAP bounce here on Peloton. Micron, as Sean mentioned, it's holding 83.5. That's VWAP, which looks absolutely fantastic. And I do think, like now all of a sudden, Apple isn't looking as strong as it was earlier. It's at VWAP. It's not even at VWAP. It's close to VWAP as the market's breaking the highs. I'm not really thinking reload as strong as the market has been, because if the market goes green, I don't want to be fighting Apple unless it's at the best price, which I think can be the 83 level. So I'm going to hold off on a reload to the shorts because I'm looking for longs, the way this market is screaming, breaking resistance levels and seeing a lot of strength in several names that I'm looking at. So I'm really more focused on looking for some longs here, which is an adjustment from what we were doing at the open.
All right. Okay. Laura, if you're watching, I just responded to you. I will figure out tonight's guest for the market recap show. No worries. Just a little busy here right now. As I basically never sleep, man. This show is always something that's on my mind, and I want to thank you guys once again for watching, and make sure that tonight, again, you know, the show that I have the most fun with is the market recap show because, again, we're not trading. We're able to just be calm, cool, and collected, and be ourselves, which and again, I just want to thank everybody for supporting that, because it does mean a lot, because, you know, that's who we are, man. Traders stay late, and stay late with me tonight again. And we'll probably have, what about Danielle Shea? Do you want me to try to get Danielle Shea? I think that would be nice. She was on yesterday, a lot of love for her. So we'll see if we can make that happen for you. Well, we can make it happen. Let me just see if she's busy there tonight. All right, Micron really stair-stepping it back up to the upside. So good one. Yes, Adam DeLuz, you know what's good, my guy over there. You're always staying late. Okay, there goes Micron. We do have an offer. I have an offer back up near 90. So that's going to be 80 again. Oopsies, 80 right there on Micron. I'm going to wait for that 90 fill. See if we do get some love all the way to the back end of this trade. I feel like it's possible. So let's just do that and see if we can get it going. Yeah, Tinkerbell as well. What's up, Darwin? Yeah, well, we can get all these guys on if you guys want. Nice move to the upside now in this market. We could check out some oil. I was actually going to look at Oxy. Oxy was breaking a little bit low. Yeah. Darn it. I wanted to look at Oxy at VWAP, and I was like, if it ever gets back up there, I'm thinking that that's going to be a short. Guys, we have to get something out right now. Face slap a little bit on Micron back and forth there, because although we're not making that much money, it did make a move all the way back up to the upside. So we should respect that and get the double barrel outs right there for Micron. That's going to be a good trade for sure moving forward. So, all right, more talk about Palantir, because we didn't quite get to that yet. Yeah, Tesla's still not at that 242 level. We'll look at that in a second. I'm just looking at another chart. Oh, wow. Yeah, Palantir trying to go. I mean, those are some levels from yesterday right now in Palantir, right? So there it is right here. We shorted this yesterday and did quite well with that trade. But let's wait to see. That top is coming in right now, man. 1640. This could be a break long. The market's finally starting to go back up to the upside. Like we said, we were uncertain about today, and there it goes. Nice little move back up to the upside. Yeah, I mean, long. The thing is, if we go long on Palantir, we really got to hold it back to like 1620 or so. So let's see if we get a little bit of a dip buy opportunity in Palantir. But yes, sir, definitely a name that we like. We could start a little baby position in this name right now. Palantir, not Peloton. So Palantir, hopefully that'll dip in a little bit and we'll be able to buy something in and around the 30s. But let's start something right here, right now.
Right here, right now. Great commercial, great saying, and right here, right now, Bitcoin is back to 44,000. Technically 43,933, but
Randy?
who cares? It's breaking out to the upside. That was Fabian on that one. It's not Randy showing up, which you always confuse us because when you hit that key, it's like Pokeroo is behind me, and if he's behind us, I turn my head. So you made me look. But I made you look at Bitcoin, and you should be looking at it because the difference today was if this breaks out the top, I am not looking to short Mara or Coinbase. If it breaks out resistance, whether you get the long or not, I had the long, got it out too early, fine, it happens. It was a winning trade, but I'm not happy with it because it was a bad exit on the last part of it. But this is a break to the upside. Mara is absolutely flying. Coinbase just tagged. It didn't quite get to, did it break? Oh, it did break 160. Okay, I was about to tell you that it didn't break 160, but I have a wick above the 160 level. That's a $10 move off the 150. Now, my target was 155, so I never would have held it past there because I'm not quite that bullish on the stock, but it is what it is, and it is flying, and part of that was the breakout in Bitcoin. I'm going to be out in a second in Micron because I'm shooting 84s here, for the 84 level, I should say, and it's right at that, where am I sitting? I'm just going to move the offer. 1 penny down and sit here at 92s. Just got to fill at 92s. So I'm going to ring the register up there. It was a good dip buy on Micron, but it definitely had a bit of a heavy sell. It held on to support. One of the things I love about support and resistance is if you zoom out, it's typically not that difficult to find. So yesterday, look at it's like quadruple barrel action, I think I called it, which is kind of not really. It's almost like it's more than 4 times that it tested that top. And then it held that in the pre-market low. It wasn't able to make a higher low at the open, and then to the upside there. So it's a little bit of a clean entry, but it was very heavy down there at 83. So that was probably going to slip by a few cents and be more like 15 to 20 cents risk, not 11. So I'm in the SoFi, I'm in the Peloton, not really hunting for some shorts, just looking for some of these longs to continue to pay off. This one in SoFi, it's struggling to break out at 850, but it's not really pulling back very far. There is room for this to get to 880 to 890. So I want to give this one a bit of a shot to take the next level up. I mean, it's pulled back so far. I mean, even a muted bounce can be pretty solid on SoFi. This stock is down $2 in like 3 days.
All right, man, did we nail Mobileye this morning, guys, when we talked about this. You know, what was potentially the move in Mobileye and where we wanted to go with it, right? Huge upside move there for MLBY, so congratulations anybody that heeded that advice and took those longs, baby. But right now, guess what? Let's freaking go. We just shorted Mobileye ahead of $31, so it's 50 cents in the money right now. We're starting to print a little bit now, so that's good. Let's see how low Mobileye wants to go. And again, man, just let's wait to see where these stocks want to go. There's always going to be dip buy opportunities and potentially shorting opportunities, especially when a name starts to go. But you can see we just got out a little bit right there. Let's see if Mobileye wants to continue its nice little downside move. And yeah, Micron, all of that. It's just been a really, really good battle back for me here. And again, you know, stay true to who you are, know who you are, and trade the appropriate strategies. We talked about this a couple days ago, right? And that is that just look at your net. I mean, it's not rocket science. You know, if things aren't working for you, switch them up. If they are, add more shares, get more aggressive, right? So we did that today. Didn't work for us on the initial break of Micron right there. Actually, it did work okay. We just didn't get it enough, and then we're able to buy the dips, right? So stay strong in the names, and then look at Mobileye, man. Mobileye instantly here going to, oh, that's why I was on the wrong stock. I was on Micron trying to get out of Mobileye. That's hilarious. Mobileye right now down. Wow, this is a bigger trade than I even thought, guys. Mobileye right now 80 cents in the money. We waited for that fade, and there it is, MBLY with a smooth 70-cent winner on the short for Mobileye, man. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere, but for now, we got to go over to the desk and see what's up with Adara. 29.50 Mobileye.
Minam, this one has run in the past, running again today. MINM is the ticker for this company, up 162%. No news that I'm seeing right now, but this one does have a float of around 382,000 shares, so very low float runner here, guys. We also have Adicet Bio, ACET, up about 30% after announcing its 2024 goals, including some research for oncology and autoimmune related disorders. So keep an eye on ACET on the NASDAQ. Last but not least, another therapeutics related name, Mobix Labs. MOBX, sorry, this one is awarded a 15-month contract for EMI filter connectors as part of the U.S. Army tank program. So keep an eye on MOBX here, guys, Mobix Labs.
The minim is the momentum in minim is very impressive. That's a bit of a tongue twister. But $5 on this stock, as you can see here, the selling at and above $5 has been rampant. So I think the thing I would look for, it's up 167%. It's just low float special. But if you can see buyers that hold above 5 and you can stop doing this crazy wick stuff above it, I think that gives you an entry point. Otherwise, you're just looking to sit on the bid in front of support on something which could drop and then halt, which is not always the best. I mean, it gives you a tight stop, but I'd almost rather see buying higher that you can join, and then that way you don't have to stop out at the low of the day on a stock like this. Like that can get a little bit nasty when you do that. Peloton, just one update for me. I did put a bid in VWAP for reload on Peloton, didn't get it. I did get the fill at 90, so I left it in there, was able to get the 90 fill. Looking for $6 up at the top. It hasn't been perfect, but it's been relatively clean this morning. Oddly enough, the stock that had my attention at 9:30, I haven't traded. Like the first stock I was in, I haven't traded since.
Yes, sir.
And it
Thank
was
you.
150
Did you
long
take
on
Bitcoin?
Amazon. Sorry, 145 long on Amazon, and Amazon's up at 146. So with the market, this did pump to the upside. That said, I had to stop, and it stopped me out. And even if I had held past, like I stopped out here, I mean, come on, like the stock went $1 to the downside after I stopped out. So like it can look like it was a good trade if I had held on to it, but it was probably the right decision to get out. Could have got back in, didn't. But Amazon now 1% to the downside, holding the high of the day. So what was weak is now semi-strong.
All right, waited with patience. I'm doing a thing right here for MBLY. I mean, this is going to turn out, again, like a name that I wasn't looking at, turning out to be one of the best stocks here today. So there goes Mobileye, man. Again, a smooth 60 cents. We already took some bids there at 30. We took 2 bids at 30. Sorry, 1 bid at 15s and then 1 bid at 12s, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why I put both those there. And then we just got out, again, some at 30 because, look, it stopped, man. It stopped at $30. So that's kind of like par for the course. Like we sort of thought that could be something that would happen there. So that's why we wound up getting out. Just trying to find out some other trades here that we want to talk about. So Palantir, again, we said we'd start a little baby position. It is falling back in PLTR. Obviously, the market is as well. So let's, I don't know, man, that Apple trade. Okay, PL, it's really just the only trade that's bugging me. My whole net is basically Apple today on the downside. So not much I can do about that. You know, you take hits when you take hits, but it hasn't been like that for a long time. So we're pretty happy with it. Okay, so here we go. We just bought some more Palantir down there. 1625, 1620, something like that, going to be an area of concern. So a little bit of a break lower than in and around here. So that's 1620. Feel like if we break below VWAP, that's where we want to get out of Palantir. So we'll stay on it. There it is, another reload there for Palantir, giving it down to 1620, hoping that we can get back up to 40. That gives us roughly the ratio that we're looking for. So we've made a decent amount of money back, man, on all this. So we're pretty happy to go so far. There's a nice little bump back up for Micron. So let's take another piece if we can get that. Google. And Google's the one that's a little bit disappointing. It just, we're already out at 60%, but it's really respecting this VWAP. And honestly, man, it's just like, let's just get another piece out. We don't need to be too aggressive with this. Now we've got Mobileye short, which I really like, and we're dealing with Micron. Nice. So yeah, Mobileye.
Was that one in the bathroom?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we put on basically just as we went there. So $31 short. Can't believe that we had that move. We didn't have it, but that's a nice move for Mobileye. And then, yeah. So money coming back in. OMGA, says Tisha Perkins.
Money coming out of Disney right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Disney's back at $90. So that was a great bounce yesterday. I did not think Disney was revisiting this after the way it traded yesterday. That's a bit weird. I just asked if there was a story that I'm missing. I have my Benzinga up, and I didn't see anything just yet. But I'll let you guys know. But that's a pretty big drop into what was a strong market to start the day. Now remember this: $90 was a bottom yesterday, but the actual support was just a little bit underneath the 90 level. And if you go to the daily chart, the 50 and the 200 period sit at about 89.70. So there is some room underneath 90 for support. I'd rather there be some buyers step in there and show some signs of at least slowing down to the downside, which it's not doing right now, before just jumping right in there. But I see some scalp opportunities off the 90 area for sure on that name. The market made a little bit of a right-hand turn to the downside. Apple did not quite crack VWAP. I wanted fills over VWAP, as I said, if I was going to reload that short. It didn't go anywhere near underneath VWAP. Peloton's still at the money. SoFi's starting to work against. But I'm still looking for the reload off VWAP in Peloton. Up 8.5%, got a bit of a squeeze factor to it. Until it breaks that 75, I want to continue to look long. And then SoFi, sort of a similar story there. Let me just go to this chart for you. There you go. The 840 is going to be my out on SoFi. I'll zoom in the 15-minute so you can see. I just wanted to hold on to this higher low that it put in. In the two 15-minute candles that I was trading off of here, you got a break at the top, and then you had this thing close at 840, pretty much even. If it gets down underneath that price, I probably give up the notion of a long until it recovers that 840 area on SoFi. So still just in the two longs. Might have missed a chance at VWAP on Apple if I was willing to step out in front of it, but I was not willing to step out in front of it. One thing that taught me at the open was allow it to get all the way to the top and the level that you want to short. Because being in even just a little bit early can cause you to, at least for myself, when you're in too early, it skews your mentality when it gets to the key price. Because instead of trading at the price and making a decision at the price, it's like I've made a decision early, and that changes how I behave when it goes another 50 cents higher. And it happens all the time. Traders will get FOMO even in that moment. It was still a good trade, but I think the execution could have been better. And one last before I come back to you, Eli Lilly, because I sold some shares yesterday, has decided to break the high of the day again.
That's a monster, man. That's gonna keep going.
It's a beast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, you've discussed your strategy there. I think it's a good one, but it's like, I don't want to sell. There's some names that is just like, yeah, that's why I was selling some of the Mag 7 names. Just like, there's obviously a sector rotation been happening. I mean, healthcare has been really blasting. A stock like AbbVie is a big part of my portfolio, man. And this has a great dividend, and it's absolutely blasting off as well.
I love healthcare.
Yeah, nice. Like, look at this. I mean, it's just, it's absolutely disgusting. So we could sit here all day and talk about our positions, but at the end of the day, I mean, you need to put them on at some point. These are longer term positions. So, oh yeah, and by the way, we did it again, man. We just reloaded it on Google right down there into the 20s. And wow, this is going a little bit faster than I thought. So let's take another piece out here at 43 if we're lucky enough to do that one right now. Awesome. Oops, hold on a second, let me just go over to there. We're looking at that Chinese name. There it is right there, 138.2 for the reload there on Google. Out some in the 40s as we continue to make that move up. And let's go, Mobileye. You can do it, man. Your home is somewhere around 29-ish. Thank you, Mobileye. All I need to do is talk to you about that. That's fine. We'll continue to do that, my friend. Nice move downside there for Mobileye as we just talked about it, and boom goes the dynamite down to the downside right there for Mobileye. Palantir dipped down. We didn't get long enough. Oh, okay. That was an order that I didn't even know we had out right there. We'll take a 38 fill on Palantir. And then we do have some more outs at 39. Let's go, Palantir. Gimme, always gets. Please, Palantir. Know your manners, because we just got a great fill up there on PLTR. We're rocking Google, we're rocking Mobileye, and we're rocking at the big desk with Adara.
This initially reported later yesterday, but the SEC yesterday holding urgent meetings with NASDAQ and the NYSE regarding Bitcoin ETFs. It's reported by Fox Business yesterday. So just something of note with regards to the ongoing spot Bitcoin ETF furor. In terms of Bitcoin itself, moving to the upside right now, we just broke above that 44,000 area. So lots of strength for Bitcoin today after a big pullback yesterday and a lot of strength on Tuesday. So this kind of back and forth here for Bitcoin, currently moving to the upside along with its related stocks. Bitcoin here above around 44,250 right now, up about 4.25%. Ethereum also up as well, just below that 2,300 area, about 2,280, up about 3% right now. A lot of other strength in these names, including Avalanche, Cardano, and Solana up 6% right now, guys.
Yes, sir. It's actually really good timing on that, because I was going to tell you guys, first things first, before I get to Mara, there's about to be a challenge of 90 on Disney as we speak. So I'm in 2 positions. You guys know about those. Disney at 90 has been a thing. 89.70 I think is the key price. You go back out to the daily chart. That's where you can find the major moving averages holding the 89.70 level. But I'm looking for a bit of a dip buy. Now, there was Reliance starting in diligence on India Media merger. That's a Disney story. It came out this morning. But there's nothing in addition to that. I don't think that's a reason for it to be down 1.5%, and 90 was a good support level. So I'm looking for a bounce, make a higher low in here, or wick the bottom and give me an entry that way. Disney making the challenge. It's a second ago, it looked like it was about to break. It's not now. I'll go to Mara. Mara just took out 25. Mara doesn't have any problems going 10%. If a stock can fall $10 in 3 days, then 10% is $2.50. That's not that much. It can easily get to 27, which was 2 days ago, the previous top. So that sets it up for the stair step to the upside. 25 is an obvious level, but that's where I would like to go dip buying into. If it does a pullback into the 25 level, I'll look for a long entry. I have 25.50 marked off from the other day. You'll see why. This is 25.50. I'm always just using the key price areas where you had some support and resistance for some spots that I want to execute off of. So I'm expecting a bit of a pullback, and I want to buy the dip on Mara. It's grip it and rip it for crypto names once again. SoFi is starting to work. Now that's bouncing back into the upside. Peloton, we scalped some and then reloaded it off of VWAP. So two new positions. Looks like a dip right now. In Mara, I want to get that in front of 25. In Disney, now making a higher low. It's about to get into that at, 18s. Okay. Oh, I still have those bat stickies.
Talked about those yesterday. Okay, so for right now, man, Micron continues to cook. We're back near the highs for that. Google's trying to cook, but it's getting overcooked, I feel like, right now. It's not really doing what we thought it would, man. We could have picked any other longs other than Google and probably been a lot happier than where we are right now.
What was the strongest Mag 7 name yesterday?
Yeah, let's just check out. Oh, was it? Okay, we'll have to look at that then.
It wasn't even close.
I do know some people are talking about AMD there. We do have some bad meta wicks. This one's not really doing anything, although it is green right now, which is really nice to see with Meta. Really, the YOLO trade for me today is just going, it's not even YOLO because I'm already out of like 65% of Mobileye. But this is the one that I think could really fall. What's up, Adara?
CH2G, Chegg Inc. here, moving to the downside, down about 2.5% after the Bear Cave issued a short report called The Problems at Chegg. This one is basically related to their concerns over AI dominating what Chegg does, which is in the student kind of business here. We are down 2.5% on Chegg. Just keep an eye on this one, guys.
It was a Bear Cave report there,
yeah. I actually feel like I heard a very similar story or note saying the same thing on Chegg a couple months ago that moved the stock as well. So I don't think that's anything new. Obviously AI is going to disrupt education, right? Like, oh my goodness, like ChatGPT, like you can know anything. When I can't pronounce a company, like I don't even go to YouTube anymore, which I do. It gives me the link to YouTube when I go on ChatGPT, but I do go to YouTube. But I just type it in there. It's like, how do you pronounce it? And it gives me the link.
You showed me that.
That was the phonetics of how to say it. And then if I want to hear it, it provides me with a link as well.
That's awesome, man.
It's making me the right kind of lazy, which is more productive.
Yeah.
So the market needs to go up now because from this market is a short to only long. No? Well,
I don't know. I don't know what this market. I'm not. I'm starting just to get out. I'd rather just be flat now. Honestly, I know it's only 10:35, but we called this day as being a confusing one, man. And I feel like right now we're pretty much dead right with that. It's just it's not really doing anything productive. And I just stole that word from you. But the thing is like, this move was maybe good, and we did take advantage of that. We got the Google out, we got some Micron out, we got some Palantir out, but then there's no follow through. It just kind of goes right back into some of these levels right there. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Thank you very much right now. But yeah, 16, again, we're just battling now again that 16,500. See, now it's going to start to bounce up a little bit. Like, I don't know. Come on, man. Make up your mind, market. That would be nice. And if you're going to make up your mind, please let it be long because we are longer than shorter right now. Micron, Google trying to go. It's Mobileye. We're getting out of this one at 31 on a 31 break. So we'll have to watch out for that. There was some talk earlier. I think didn't Ford release some delivery numbers earlier? earlier today, I think Brendan mentioned. So let's have a quick little look at Ford maybe right now and see if we can get some love back in on this name. Nice move there. This is the kind of barcode that you're looking for. Unfortunately, it's just not super exciting, but that would have been a good break. Maybe if we get some love back down to 1170. It's Palantir that's on my mind right now too, because would really like to get this one going. And I think that if we could break this 40 level, which is why I'm still pretty heavy in it. Here, it goes back to yesterday, right there. Like that's going to be a top that we're just dancing around right now. That was made yesterday early 940. Let's just take it out and move on. Okay, how about that, Palantir? So we're long this name right now. We're looking for that to get taken out, and then we'll party on to the upside on that one. But right now, a little bit of a trouble zone for some of these longs because they're just stuck. Like Google's stuck. You know, so we're going to wait to see if we get something longer on Google back down near 138 flat, and then use 138 and 137 high as our out, because that has dipped in to 138 and stopped. So Google today, as Neil mentioned yesterday, looked strong. Today, looking significantly weak, in my opinion, and we should not be battling the long. So we'll try one more time.
I'm saying that because it was a point in the afternoon show. If you're, always tuning back into the afternoon show, we not just trade, but we'll set up ideas for the next day.
Sir.
I was saying how Microsoft was holding on to being green in the afternoon
Apple.
when the market was weak, and that made it a relatively strong name. And the strongest
knew that was gonna
I was corrected because Google was up almost a full % at the same moment. I didn't check on the close. I think I'm about to let's get to Disney first, because Mara's fine right now. Disney, I could have scalped some out there. It got to 90-30. I'm long at 19.5. I'm giving it 20 cents there, so scalping it 10 cents was never really part of the plan, but it is right back into the lows. Disney, it did a reversal setup for me, so that's going to trigger a trade off the 90 level. If I'm looking for a 90 bounce, I'm going to take that long 10 times out of 10, but it's about to take out the low at that 90 even, in which case I'm just getting out. So we'll slap the L on Disney in a few seconds when it does come in. I've got a stop order. I'm not really going to mess around with it. Either it holds or it doesn't at this particular point. And it's not seeming like it wants to. It's down 1.8% into a weak market. Like Mara, it's like buy the dip on a strong stock. Its stock goes immediately up. You buy the dip on a weak stock. It doesn't always work out for you. Sometimes it's at a key level and you're just going to do it because it's a support level, but it doesn't always have to work. So I got some Mara out there because I wanted to take something out in front of 25.50. If this breaks out past 25.50, I want to look for the next stair step up to add back into the long if it's not going to be off to 25. So this has been arrows up. Try not to fight the trend. Had some mistakes fighting the trend on this. Had a good long that could have been better in coin. Got another one here with Mara. And if you're in anything related to the bounce in Bitcoin, because it's still the undisputed, that's not the champion of the world, but we're through 44,000. When I said it last time, we're at like 43,990 something. Now we're through 44,000. And I do believe, did I miss a throw?
No.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, GBTC starting to go as well, up another 4%. Congratulations, man. Anybody that's a Bitcoin hodler like I am and have just been sitting on some of these coins, it's been pretty good. Other names as well, like today, and we already did crypto, so I'll just do this real quick because we do have Sector Watch coming up right now with Adara. But, you're going to see some of all these altcoins just in the last hour, 2%. Those are the big guys. But Solana, XRP, Cardano, they're all now just starting to go. Nice 24-hour movement as well back on some of said coins. So, all right, it is now time to get ready to rock and roll. And let's go over to the desk with Adara.
A lot of sectors getting a nice move to the upside today, including finance, pretty strong across the board here. Producer manufacturing, very strong. Health services, we also have some strength in commercial services, consumer durables, and a bit more of a mixed performance in retail trade. But one sector really strong right now is health technology. Eli Lilly to the upside after announcing direct-to-consumer weight loss drugs. Novo Nordisk actually also hitting new all-time highs after news of financing some obesity-related research. So lots of news for these health tech names with regards to obesity research and obesity pills right now. In terms of other sectors to watch, we do have a little bit more mixed performance from technology services. All the mega caps in this sector a bit weaker right now, but a bit of a push here to the upside for Netflix in terms of Electronic technology, Apple weaker after yet another downgrade. Some of these chip names, though, getting a nice push to the upside with the exception of Intel. Parent company of Mobileye, which is trading lower after lower projections, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. I got to immediately go to Bitcoin back again. I know we just finished there, but to finish the thought or to add to the thought, I'm not going to reload Mara right now because Bitcoin, when it made that big liquidity drop the day that Sailors sold some shares, you had a big morning drop, it had a huge fall off of here, 4435, 4435. It just wicked that level and turned right back around and just pulled back into the 44,000. So I'd like to see it resolve that before I have, before I'm making another decision. I had 25.15 on Mara. Let's go to the 3-minute chart so you can see a little bit better. I had 25.15 on Mara, the break of this local high, and then it came back in, buy the previous high, give to the even dollar. So risk about 15 cents, but I had resistance at 25.50. So risk 15 cents. It just gave a double top at what I thought was resistance as Bitcoin was topping out. To me, that's a take profit and then move on to the next trade. Maybe it continues to take the stair steps up. It's possible. But I'd rather take the money and run. No one ever went broke taking profit. And somehow Disney has not stopped out at the bottom. It's now held for like 6 or 7 minutes since we talked about this. It's got the 90 even is the low of the day. So what might happen here is Disney could wick the bottom, stop me and a bunch of other people out, and then immediately recover. If that's the case, I might just jump right back into it with a stop at the low. But that's a different trade. This one I'm holding to 90.
All right. So my only trade of concern here. Okay, so a little bit concerned with Palantir because it's not really moving properly, but we don't really have enough shares in it yet to worry about it. We actually were bidding. I'm bidding 26s. We just dipped down into 26, 27. That would have been a nice fill for that one. So we'll have to wait for that. But the trade I wanted to sort of talk about was this one right here, Mobileye. So we'll wait to see what happens now with MBLY. Just hitting the bottom again of $30. We could have got out. No, I talked about this one possibly being the one for me. So let's wait to see. Wow, good bounce. Oh, that's too bad, man. We did not get long on Google enough down there. We're still waiting near 38. Good call, but wrong price. Okay, Apple's still bouncing around that 121 area, or sorry, 181 area. But the thing is, I love all the updates from Adara, but one that's been missing for a while that you guys have all wanted. Let's go. Neil just mentioned being hungry, yeah, so hopefully this will probably screw you up even more. Because today, although today you're like, hey, maybe it's, nah, it's not tacos, maybe it's chicken. Well, you're gonna be right if you did say chicken, and by the way, let's go Mobileye, back down to the downside. But today's chicken, actually I had this discussion with my son last night while we were lying in bed, very, very odd topic. And he said, no, it's not. Do you say crispy chicken sandwich? That's what it is today, by the way. Let me read the menu first. Crispy chicken sandwich on multigrain ciabatta. I don't love sandwiches on ciabatta, so okay. With pepperoncini, mayo, and fries. Love those little peppers, man. That's what it's all about. I'm going to be down with that, although the salad will be tasting probably worse than that, but we're on salad. No, he said, do you say chicken burger or chicken sandwiches? And I was like, well, I think it's a chicken sandy. I like to say chicken sandwich, but I think like if you walked into any, I told him like if you walk into any restaurant, the kid loves KFC, like it's going out of style. Like you know how I should buy some Yum brands.
I kind of differentiate it this way. Like if all I'm doing is taking like a bootleg cutlet, right, and the hamburger bun, I'm gonna call it a chicken burger. Like I'm not making that. See, if it's a sandwich, it's gonna be like it's good. Like a sandwich it's a different level. Like I gotta put some extra toppings on it. If I'm putting ketchup on it and maybe a pickle and it's just gangster, then it's a burger, chicken burger.
So
sandwich needs some like mayo, something like not mayo. Oh goodness, not mayo. Like mustard, a couple of extra garnishes on there. I'm not really much of a mayo guy. So I'll do it. It's just not my thing, and it's not an odd topic to have. My daughter, we talk about food, like we'll talk about food and what she wants to
all
the time, especially what she's like, what are you eating for dinner tomorrow? And she wants sushi actually tonight.
So I don't, sushi, my kids love sushi. Well, my daughter loves sushi. Yeah, no, a chicken burger is the ground, the processed chicken into like a burger form. So that's basically what I told him. But then I said, like, if you ever go into, I mean, I agree. I don't think it really matters what you call it. But when you go into like a restaurant like a KFC, you kind of just tell them that's what you want and they'll give it to you. So I don't think it really matters overly. But yeah, I like the chicken sandy. So that's what's tonight. And that was what's for lunch. And I already have tomorrow's. No, absolutely not. You will have to wait for tomorrow. Confirmed tonight, props it up. It's Miss Danielle Shea. We told you, you want Danielle Shea? We deliver Danielle Shea. All about options tonight. Let me know, tweet at me, tweet at her. I'll put something out and we can figure out what names we want to talk about coming in through earnings. Everybody always wants to know about Tesla. We had her on yesterday, all about that base, all about Tesla. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. In a name that we talked about that we love long time, Roblox. But the thing about this is it only dipped off the open and then it didn't even go down. So as the market tried to make moves down pretty much all morning, now to the upside, Roblox was like, nah, you're right, Sean, we were along. But we were long at 41, not at 40. So in what I thought, potentially we would be patient and wait for some moves to come down to the downside. The market looks like it just wants to start heading northbound. So yeah, nice little move there for Roblox. I like this name. I said there was two names I'm trying to buy on dips. I said this about 8:30. One was Roblox and the other one was going to be Softy as far as bigger tech is concerned. I just really love the Roblox technology. It's amazing, and I just think it's going to continue to improve and revolutionize video game playing like it already has. So I like Roblox. I think it definitely works, and I also like Palantir, if you hadn't guessed. A big name for me. Maybe I shouldn't say. I've already talked about dip buying Palantir, so I'm not even going to talk about it too much more, but we're getting close to those levels, man. We broke through the 50-period moving average. I was waiting for 15, but that may be a little bit greedy. Let's just wait, though. I don't want to get in and start buying anything until at least the end of January. Brennan teed up something a little bit. I'm interested to hear what Frank says about the CME Fed rate tool. I think we're a little bit ahead of ourselves there. Let's just see what they wind up doing in January. I mean, to me, that's going to be a bigger thing. Intel, we didn't look at chips today. I mean, we were both in MU. I mean, I'm still in it. But.
Micron was the one with a story. I mean, I looked at AMD for a little bit. Just one quick question for you. Well, I looked up Roblox P, so I don't care about that.
5,000.
Without looking, when do you think they report? It's a good day. Their earnings.
Oh, well, because you said that Valentine's Day?
Yeah, Valentine's Day. Roblox report. I mean, it's kind of.
Man, you're such a lush.
When I say it that way, if you love the stock, well then you'll get earnings on February the 14th. I'm only saying earnings because that's a key for me. The stocks that I'm looking to buy, I'm not trying to time the market. I want to see some earnings reports out of this year. Like a Mobileye, which is a stock that I owned and I bought it like a while ago. Like it's obviously only an IPO in 2022, but it's something I bought like early in last year. I'm not making a decision until they just obviously got huadunked. It settles down in a couple days. I might make a decision then, or I'm just going to wait till they report in 3 weeks. But I don't think, gut's telling me I don't want to buy any more of it, but you never know. Before we get to Money Talks, just a couple of updates for you. One, SoFi looking okay, but Disney bounced off 90 again and couldn't break these 30s. I'm still waiting for 40s and VWAP on this move. I like a VWAP retrace off of a bottom like this at this time of day. It's just not necessarily giving me the good news that didn't stop out, the bad news that didn't give me any fills to the upside. It's not really pushing far enough. I reloaded Peloton. It's trying to hold on to 75. Was able to get the first scalp trade, looking for the second one. As we're going to the desk with Adara, it's time for Money Talks.
USD here very much within this range of about this 102.30 area to about 102.50. This is the 15-minute chart in the USD. So as you can see here, we did get a bit of a pop here, 8:15, 8:30. Remember, we got that initial jobless claims data. So came in a bit lower than expected, 202,000, versus the expected 216,000. So got a bit of a pop off of that. Around 9:45, we got the S&P Global Composite PMI and the Global Services PMI. Global Composite coming in 0.1 lower than the estimate, so 50.9 versus 51, and Global Services PMI coming in 0.1 higher than expected, so 51.4 versus 51.3. Overall, not too much happening with the USD today, but we do have more economic data on watch with the NFP numbers coming out tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on that with regards to how that might move the DXY here, guys.
Ye old Dixie, the U.S. dollar, it matters. I feel like this year we're talking about, like, we got jobs today. You know, you care about how the economy is doing, care about that USD. Obviously, if rates are going to go down, that's going to have an effect. That's why you got to stay tuned when Frank comes in, because we give you that higher time frame look. We're obviously looking at a lot of equities in here today. And okay, so I'm looking at Disney, which is at the low of the day. But if you want to see what's going on with the overall market, sans Apple and Disney, there's a few other things that are weak today. The NASDAQ is now to the upside and has gone green, which is a little bit different from the last couple of sessions. That said, it's up 0.02%, so let's not pull on the, hey, it's a bear, it's a bull rally all of a sudden. We are making a bit of a dip back in. I wanted to get to Apple because that has been showing all kinds of weakness. It's not even at VWAP as the market's breaking higher. So this is still in the ish list as far as I'm concerned. I haven't had a trade since the open, but suddenly VWAP is looking pretty enticing. If the market does fail to hold green, which it's testing right now, 182 would be in here on VWAP. These are just old, dark pool prints from, I guess, like a couple weeks ago or maybe last week. The top is actually 183.09 today on Apple.
All right. Look, man, I'm buying Roblox. So I'm just going to buy it right now. Breaking through the 50-period moving average. We talked a little bit about that right there, but that was down at 42. I've just missed it. I think we could break higher. If this market wants to go, we're just, again, the biggest mistake today was just not holding the Apple short. Like, we've been short it forever. We didn't hold it, but again, the hit, not good, but not bad. Could have held it a little bit more, but it's still not even going back up. So Apple with down 1.48%. This name down near 180. I talked about this again last night on the recap show. And thank you again for everything. Make sure you join me today with Danielle. We should have another banger, of course. Well, it doesn't. I mean, yesterday we didn't have anybody, and it was one of the best shows. So, all right. We'll wait for that, right, Fabian? Yeah, that's right, buddy. So I said traders stay late and one production person stays late as well. And sometimes we get sales staying late and we get Obi staying late. So maybe we'll pull Obi one day for that show. All right, so just quickly, 42 is the out. Is long story short, if Roblox falls back in 50 cents, then we'll take the hit on it. But I am wanting to buy more right now downside on Roblox. So if Roblox comes in anywhere near this sort of a level, I'm bidding 18s, which is really that dip level there, probably a little too specific. We could probably get away with bidding 25s. Let's let it fall back in. We're doing a lot of damage right now in this market on some of these positions that we have, including Google. Like, we just got out there, ripped up. We talked a little bit about that. 2 outs to the upside on Google. That's a little bit of a face slapper for me on that one. So that's going to turn out to be a really good deal right there. And let's go. Come on, Mobileye. You can break through 30 bucks. Let's do this, man. We've been on this bear for time. Let's go. Mobileye to the downside, man. We had the long, well, we talked about the long early, but now we've got that short. We let Mobileye rip all the way to the top side. Now let's see it print to the downside here. Mobileye, again, going to be my #1 stock right now. So let's go. See you later, Mobileye. I'm only bidding 29s. So I'm bidding 29.20. Let's get down in through here. Let's break yourself through VWAP. Ciao, Bella. Let's see how low we can go here with Mobileye. Let's see where we go. That's a long story short on that one. Roblox, Mobileye, Google, so far so good. Mobileye now joining that dollar club right there. So it took a minute. We have $1 in Micron, but that's a little bit stupid. But it's really Mobileye right now that's starting to heat up a little bit to the downside. So we'll see where it goes. VWAP wouldn't surprise me at 29.40. Maybe we take a piece out there. I mean, from top to bottom to VWAP. All right, you know what? I'm going to cancel my 29.20 fill and just put it right at VWAP, which is 40s. So 39s. So let's, again, it's not sacrificing that much. Let's do it, man. Again, a really, really good look here for me on Mobileye. I hope some of you took that position with me as well. Let's go Mobileye. I'm actually going to bid 50s. All right, it had a little bit of a problem trying to break through 30 bucks. Let's see what Mobileye does right now. Hopefully gives us this fill at, you know what, forget it. I don't even want this fill at VWAP. I'm going to hold. I think it broke. Let's wait to see if Mobileye gets to 28.50.
What's the green line?
200 period.
Yeah, the 200 there at 29. Go back for a second. The 200 at 29. That's like the.
Yeah, but the thing is, look at the 200 period.
I know, but like I'm just saying it's that level there. That's what's the point.
Yeah, I like the levels, but the thing about it is this 200, like when a stock moves like this.
No, I don't care about the 200.
Right. You're just talking about the support
like
level.
I like 29 better than VWAP because because of the stair step to the upside. That's all I was getting. It just so happens that there's a line at 29.
Broke.
But it's that level there. I can't see. It's about 945 on Sean's chart. That's why I stay on his chart.
We're smoking right now.
It's a great one. The reason why you trade names that are in play, like it's an earnings play. We talked about Walgreens making a bounce. If you're winding the tape, Walgreens support, Walgreens 50 period. Obviously trading a lot of other names in here today when it made that bounce. Disney, we'll see if it works out, but you pick and rip what you like. You know, Apple, Micron, Peloton, SoFi, Unity. I'll stick with the names, and Mara was good, but I'll stick with what I was actually more enticed to trade. But just because something sets up and you don't take it, you can always look back and say, hey, should I have prioritized this more? And I look at Walgreens off that bounce, and it actually got better. If you look at the longer it held that level, it actually got better. It's now above VWAP. Typically for me, a trade like this, I'm taking into VWAP, which is an SSR bounce. Once it gets to VWAP, I'd have like 90% of it out. And then if it goes any further, hold some for the dream for the gap fill. So if you got it, congratulations. There's about 2 minutes to go till we get to the midday special treat. I'm going to jump on because I love the topic that they're doing a little bit closer to lunchtime, just to talk about trade setup and how we come up with these levels and what my routine is in the morning. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. It's a great lesson that you guys are going to be able to get in how everyone here approaches every single day, but specifically on how to trade with Adara and Sharif. Talking about not just how to find stocks, what is your routine in the morning, what are the things a trader should do to prepare, what kind of scanners you can use. That's always fantastic. As Sean mentioned, fantastic guest. We already had Daniel Shea back once.
Yes, she's now a regular, obviously.
She will be back to being a regular. That should be fantastic. And then we got Frank Caberna coming through so we can talk a little bit about rates, which, you know, to start the year, everything was pretty bearish. I look back, we're close to green. We were green a second ago. We're close to green. Are we making a bit of a rebound? I'd like to see what his take is on rates. The market's still looking a little bit heavy as we speak. But good bounce here on Walgreens. I guess Apple should have been a reload short, not waiting for VWAP. It cannot seem to get past 181.75 here, and I'm looking for 182. So you can be picky, and sometimes it works out for you, other times it does not. You know where my stop is on Disney. It's at 90 even. I was asked where my stop was on Peloton. I put it in the chat, and I said again, it's just this 575 level. It just bounced off that level again. I'll look to take something out at 90 because that's where the resistance is showing me it is on Peloton.
All right, guys. You know, we said we don't want to talk too much about P&L, but Mobileye is definitely my number one P&L here today. But it's been so far so good, and we really hit that, man. I mean, it's just is what it is for now. I'm still trying to be greedy with this. We have about 30% left of Mobileye because we got that fill there at 30 bucks. So initially we had gotten it all out 30%, and a little bit higher than that. About 35%. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Mobileye. We just need to break. It just bounced off VWAP right there. So maybe we are into something right now with Mobileye. We do just get a gasoline build as well right now. But we're done. As Neil just mentioned, man, good job recapping that. We will be back, obviously, at the end of this next show, which is going to be 2 p.m. So without any further ado, let's go Palantir. Let's get that name going back up to the upside. Let's get Roblox going. Let's get Mobileye going the other way right now. Sharif with the thumbs up. All right, for Neil and Sean, it's been a blast.
It has.
It's been a good one.
Ooh, mobile. Ooh.
Oh, you got all out of Mobileye, somebody? Okay, maybe I should put a bid here. All right, let's go back over to the midday now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Fabian, Brendo, and Adara. We'll talk to you guys very soon.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Learn How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara. I'm Sharif, and as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to mosey on over from the other stream there. We already have a couple of people, Bears versus Bulls as usual, of course, and Moaz Moamin.